third promotions, when you're at that point, you've doubled your starting pay rate, right? You start at 10%. But once you sell $3,000, like a laptop or a MacBook, they run somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000, which means you can go out and sell one set and double your starting pay. So really focus on working hard that first week and a half on the job. Yeah. And you came in first. And what was your name? Alan. Cool. Let me take a look at your info sheet here. So you're at Germain. So are you in Fredericksburg? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. All right. Income number one. Cool. Can I tell you something, Alan? In my experience, when I see income as number one on a young person's info sheet at the beginning of the training seminar, the thing that goes through my head is this: there's probably not a better place for this person. Because as far as like income opportunity, there is, and I'm biased. Okay, I've trained 4,000 students to sell Cutco. I've been here for 10 years. Okay, so I'm biased. I'll admit that. But in my experience, from what I've seen in and outside of this business, there is nowhere where young people can make the kind of income they can here. My top students in a summer will make somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 their first summer on the job, and can come back their second summer and double that. Yeah, crazy, right? So I like to see income. Recognition advancement, cool. Good. Cool. Photography, awesome. Okay. You're an Eagles fan. Yeah. I bet you feel great right now, huh? Yeah. Awesome. Sam Hunt, Hunter Hayes. Okay, so you're a country fan?
Yeah.
Where do the country concerts happen around here in the summertime?
Well, the one closest to me are Regina Live. It's like an outdoor concert.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's some of my favorite. My fiance and I are looking at getting the country music mega ticket this year. Because normally we'll go to like 3 or 4 shows in the summertime. But we looked at the lineup for the mega ticket this year, and down the row, it's every single show. It's awesome. Cool. Awesome. Cool. Very cool. Master Chief, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was in JROTC when I was in high school.
Were you?
So, yeah.
Did some leadership experience with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Is that something that you enjoy? Do you enjoy being in a leadership role? Mm-hmm. Cool. We're always looking for leaders here. Great. Awesome. Hang on to this. I'm going to collect it from you here in a bit. And what was your name?
Ashley.
Ashley. Cool. And Ashley, let's see. So you went to Hampton University? Mm-hmm. Are you still in school there?
Yes.
Cool. Where's that located?
In Hampton, Virginia, close to Virginia Beach.
Cool. Do you live on campus?
No, I'm off campus.
You're off campus?
Yeah, I'm actually taking this semester off for the grad school program.
Cool.
Yeah.
What grad school programs are you looking at?
Baylor University has one for my...
Go Bears?
Yeah. My department, my area of interest.
What do you want to study?
Kinesiology. Well, that's what I did for bachelor's.
Cool.
And so that'll go into...
Sports medicine, PT. My mom works with mentally and physically handicapped kids.
Yeah.
And so she works with a lot of physical therapists.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, one thing that you'll find is this: there's so much fulfillment in that field. Mm-hmm. So much fulfillment.
Yeah, I'm excited to get with that.
Cool. So advancement is something you're interested in. Why is that?
I feel like, you can never stop getting to the top. And when you get to the top, it's one money.
Yeah, it's true. You're paid for responsibility. Right?
Yeah.
People get paid based on their responsibility levels. So I like that. Cool. Tired Army, okay. Cool. Department of Education, great. Oh, you like to cook? Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, I know. That's funny when I saw it. I was like, wow.
Oh, no, here's why you're going to be so great at the job. Because you enjoy cooking, you're automatically going to have built-in conviction to the product. Because when you use it, you're going to realize like how much better it is than other stuff, Very cool. Game of Thrones. Okay, I'm going to admit something. I'm going to admit something. I love a good TV series, but I haven't been able to get into Game of Thrones, man.
I felt the same way, and then it gets a little slow, but
I'm gonna make some.
once you finish it, I'm like so excited for the next season.
Did you ever watch The Walking Dead?
No.
What about Lost? Did you see that one? You might be a little bit too young for Lost.
Yeah.
Lost was a commitment
Yeah,
because it was like eight or 9 seasons, and they were like 25 episodes a season. Versus like something like Game of Thrones, which like 6, 8, 10, something like that. Yeah. Cool. Very cool. Awesome. Excited to have you here, Ash.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where in Alexandria do you live?
Off of Richmond Highway, Route 1, close to Fort Belvoir.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, I was talking to our Uber driver last night. Alexandria and I went to DC for Valentine's Day. We're on the way back. I was just asking, hey, what are the cool areas? Like, if we just want to drive around and look at cool houses, where do we go? He's like, Potomac, Maryland.
Yeah. I was about to say that.
So that's the first. I'm like, all right, we're gonna make a trip there.
Yeah, there's some money now.
So these are good things for you guys to know as reps too, because here's the deal. I was born and raised in a single wide trailer. My mom's a school teacher. My dad didn't have a job for almost my whole life. So I didn't start with like Super Bowl customers, but within 4, 5, 6 weeks on the job, I was seeing Super Baller customers because I knew what neighborhoods they lived in. So when I was on appointments at the end, when I'm asking for referrals, I would get 5, 10, 15, and then I would get the sheet and I'd be like, okay, now, Miss Jones, who do you know that lives in the Governor's Club? Who do you know that lives in the Preserve? Right? These are some of the baller neighborhoods where I was from. And sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know anyone. And you have to get through a couple of them. But even if they give you one in Potomac, Maryland, right? And that turns into 6, which turns into 18, which turns into 40. It's game over. Alexandria's a cool place. We went to Old Town on a date night.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Old Town is cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And
Awesome.
you can catch the ferry over to the National Harbor.
Really?
That's where we were.
That's where we were. That's where MGM is.
And
and
MGM and
Gaylord.
Gaylord, yeah.
Yeah.
We did our anniversary.
Really? Okay, cool. That's gonna be a good spring Saturday day. Okay, good looks. And Miss Vera. So where are you? You're going to University of Maryland? Is that where you're going?
yet, but I'll do that.
Cool. College Park? Cool. Mr. Gambo in the back graduated from College Park.
You should make the smartest choice of your life and go there.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, on the break, ask me questions. Are you committed already?
I'm going to commit.
Oh, well then you already know.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
So income number 1 for you too. Great place for you to be if that's like the number 1 thing on your list. Yep. Awesome. Cool. Play the violin?
Yeah.
How long have you done that?
Step 7.
No way. Do you play any other strings?
I've never tried, but I can play the piano and like the guitar
Cool.
a little bit. Yeah.
Now was violin first?
Mhm.
Cool. But sometimes when violin, piano, those are kind of those types of instruments that can like carry over into other ones where it's pretty easy for you to learn.
I don't think I wanted to learn any other ones. I saw my mom's sister play the violin. I was like, she's pretty. I was like, she's pretty. She has really long nails, and she's skinny. And I want to be like.
I'm playing the violin because that's what. I love it. I love it. The Parent Trap. Okay, now is this Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap?
It's like the new version.
Okay, the new version. Okay, cool. Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap. Cool. Very cool. Cooking. Oh my god. Yeah, you two are gonna be friends, and you're gonna love Coco. Awesome. Really cool. Great there. Awesome. Awesome. All right, boys. Let's check this out. So advancement number 1 for you. Cool. Tell me about that.
I really just felt it was a great opportunity just to advance career in marketing.
Yeah.
Like all over the board. Like if you see there, I want to be a pediatric endocrinologist.
Cool.
And you have to in that field you also have to sell like pumps, insulin pumps.
Oh yeah.
So it would be a good skill to have to
Mhm.
sell. So,
And where's Mountain View High School?
Centerville.
Centerville. Cool. Cool. Skins.
Yeah.
It's tough, right? It's tough being a Skins fan.
I already admitted it.
So here's the deal. The one team I'm holding on to from Carolina is the Panthers. But as soon as I moved here, I'm a Natties fan. Okay, I'm a Caps fan. I'm in. But I'm gonna hold on to the Panthers. I developed, Kevin. Dude, did you see Kevin at the?
Yeah.
Oh, that was classic.
Yeah. You
awesome.
see they held him back from going on the field.
I know. Like, Kevin, you need to chill.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Cool. Dude, special needs children, tell me, what do you do with that?
I volunteers at the Kilmer Center, where my sister goes because she's fully handicapped.
Yeah.
I'm from a birth injury.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. My mom, like I said, my mom's worked in special needs for 30 years. Yeah. Where is that located?
Kilmer Center, it's right next to Kilmer. It's by Tyson's. It's right next to
Cool.
Kilmer Middle School.
Yeah, let's talk about that more in detail on a break. I'd like to know how I could get involved with small volunteer work and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Cool, man. Lifting nutrition.
Yeah.
Klaus is all about the gains.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can definitely connect with him on that. Awesome.
You should get email from me. Same thing. You guys should get some email.
Very cool, man.
It's just to confirm your info.
Very, very cool. Sweet.
Actually got service.
We also have
Good
Wi-Fi
stuff.
if you need it
Which
too.
one
Yeah,
is
it's
that?
the Wi-Fi is Vector Reps 2.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And then the password is
Christian, I'm going to keep
Harry
working on this here in a moment.
1721. Or excuse me, 1720.
Oh, the supercar, huh? Okay. Which one? You got to pick one.
We fill out the stuff.
Which stuff?
Like if there's like a link for the name.
Yeah, I mean you can if you want.
Dude. So
Just like if you
we
didn't
were in
know more,
Miami
like,
last
give
week
your name on it, so.
in South Beach. And we were walking out of this restaurant. It's like a really exclusive, really cool restaurant.
Yep, let me know if it goes.
And we're walking out and pulling right up to valet was the sexiest McLaren I've ever seen. Flat black. I mean, it was cool.
Where I used to live in South Carolina, there was a known McLaren.
Wi-Fi's name is Vector Reps 2.
So
Where in South Carolina did you live?
Password is pairing 17.
Okay, yeah,
It's
yeah.
P-A-R-I-N-G.
Gray.
I thought it was
and
PAI.
I saw it driving once, just like turning left.
The PA.
Now, how long have you been up here in Nova for?
I-N-G, so like pairing
Been here
knife.
since December.
What brought you up to Northern Virginia?
My parents lived
You said what?
Okay.
there. My dad was.
I'm sorry, what?
2 hours.
Did he move?
No,
with an
just
assignment or
1 hour.
something? Cool. Cool. So one thing that you'll probably do is you'll probably utilize our virtual demo quite a bit. Because I imagine a lot of like friends from high school, things like that, are still back in South Carolina. And 5-10 years ago when I started, you wouldn't be able to show those people Cutco. We didn't have a program for that. Now we do. So have you ever heard of Prezi?
Yes.
There's a Prezi presentation. It's just click and play, click, click, click. And you can sell to all those people back in South Carolina sitting in your living room. It's pretty cool. Space Jam, dude. Classic.
Christian, do you have a cousin in North Carolina by any chance?
North Carolina.
You know, okay. I wrestled a guy with your last name in high school. I didn't know if he had a cousin or anything.
Barcelona. They're unstoppable, dude. Cool. Very cool. All right, gang. You guys ready to rock and roll? You definitely want to be taking notes during the training today. If you haven't already, go ahead and copy down. You can copy down the pilot staff into your notes, as well as the office phone number and the office identification number.
Christian, when you get a chance, check your email. Check your email.
Yes, please.
Hey, nice job on that.
Thank you.
Smart choice.
I mean, my parents kind of want me to go there.
Yeah, I'll give you the inside scoop. I'm one of 3 from our family. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Terps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, feel free to continue filling out your info sheets. I'll collect those from you here at some point on our first break or our second break of the day. So we'll get those at some point. No rush there. I do want to officially welcome everybody to the training. How's everybody doing this afternoon?
It's really good.
Good. Awesome. Again, just to introduce myself to all of you, my name is Brian Hurlman. My position title is what's called a division manager. What that means is I own and operate this office here in Northern Virginia and oversee all the other sales organizations that we have throughout Virginia and West Virginia. I mentioned before, I've been with the company for about 10 years, but I started, I was probably younger than a lot of you. I was 17 when I started the job, and man, when I started, I was just, I was about to go into my freshman year of college, and I was looking for a summer job where I could make some good money and get some experience for my resume. Before at Cutco, I'd only had 3 jobs. I had never done anything like this before. I had been a Ben & Jerry's ice cream scooper. I had been a pizza delivery boy. I'd worked as a bellman at a hotel. So, you know, I didn't break records, but I did pretty well. I sold about $9,000, give or take, my first 10 days on the job, and then went on to sell about 30 grand in my first 5-6 weeks before going off to my freshman year of school at University of North Carolina at Charlotte. I continued working around classes during the fall and the spring semesters, just to pay bills and put myself through college. You know, my parents were pretty clear when I was in high school that if I was going to go to school, I was either going to have to pay for it out of pocket or take student loans. And one of the big things for me is that I didn't want to be graduating at 22 with, you know, 40, 60 plus $1,000 in student loan debt hanging over my head. So I wanted to find a job where I could really do well financially and put myself through school. And Cutco was that for me. So I worked around my first 2 semesters of college part-time, and due to my performance during my first year or so, I was able to move into an assistant manager position. I asked a couple of you this. Any of you held, whether it's a sports team or student government? So I've done that stuff too. I've been the captain of my soccer team. I'm an Eagle Scout. I've been in, you know, student government. My second summer with Cutco was my first time being paid for leadership, and it was really, really fun. And I got really clear in that summer that that's what I wanted to be in a leadership role. And I decided to make Cutco a career. If you would have told me at 17 or 18 that's what I was going to do, I would have told you that you were crazy. But I made Cutco a career. I started as a district manager in 2009 in Charlotte, North Carolina. I ran the office there in Charlotte for about 8 years. In that time, our office won a number of national championships. Actually, this office has been the #1 office in the country for the past 3 consecutive years. We've won 8 national championships, 7 of them in the last 3 years. So we're kicking butt, taking names. I'm really excited to be here in Nova, excited to have all of you here. On the board here is our office staff, Mr. Joseph Koss, okay? This is the man. Here's what I want you to know. The likelihood is you're going to work a lot closer with Joseph after the training is completed than you will work with me as a division manager. I spend my time working with about the top 10% of reps here in this office. And then I spend the rest of my time working with the other career district managers throughout Virginia and West Virginia. So if you want to get a chance to work with me more directly, kick butt, take names, the likelihood is you're going to work very, very close with Joseph. Joseph is incredible. Okay, this is quite literally one of the most talented, hardworking young men I have ever worked with in my 10 years with Cutco. Joseph started with me as a senior. Actually, as a freshman in college while he was at Belmont Abbey. He started working around his exams. So he was finishing up his exams second semester. He was also a collegiate wrestler. So he was working around wrestling and final exams. Only sold like $5 grand or so his first 10 days on the job. That was working around exams and finals and such. Joseph is an aggressive learner. He went on to be the #2 sales rep in my office that summer out of over 200. Made over $10,000 in income selling Cutco his first summer. Came back his second summer and was our district office manager, so essentially ran the day-to-day operations of my office. And that summer, we were the #1 office in the country, won a couple national championships. Joseph was able to save over 20 grand that summer. And then last summer, he went out, and he was a branch manager. So instead of like being in my office where I pay the bills and I write the checks, and he was the owner operator. He made every operational financial decision in the business. It's essentially it's an entrepreneurship internship where it's really CEO experience for the summer. Joseph ran his own office, ended up in 3.5 months producing over $200,000 in sales revenue, and was the #7 branch manager in the country out of over 300. This young man is training with me to move into a career role with Cutco as a district manager. He is my right hand. He is our CEO. He is incredible. Super, like one of the most loyal people you'll ever meet in your life. You'll love this guy. So really get to know Joseph. And Justin. Justin Sanders is one of our assistant managers here in the office as well. So Justin conducts interviews. He does some coaching calls and some coaching with sales representatives. Justin is also training with me to move into a career position this summer as a district manager. So he'll be owning and operating our Roanoke location for Cutco this upcoming summer. So Justin is one of the best productivity managers in the business, meaning The representatives that he trains and works with on average sell exponentially more than other representatives in other organizations. He's incredible. These guys are, one thing you're going to realize is like the leadership dynamic here is really strong. So get to know those guys. They'll be popping in and out of training, and I'll introduce them a little bit later more formally. As you guys know, we're in here from, we start today at 2. What time are you told that we're out? Are we out at, is it 11? 11:30 tonight? I just want to make sure everyone's paying attention. So today's 2 to 9, and tomorrow we'll wrap up from 12 to 7. Then after that, we'll have an advanced training that is going to help you really build upon your fundamentals. And then after the training is completed, you'll be in the office for a weekly team meeting with the whole sales team together. And then you'll have a one-on-one meeting with a manager to help you create an individualized schedule around your other obligations and things that you have going on. So listen, if you're a little bit nervous right now, I know exactly how you feel. I sat in those exact same chairs. It's very, very normal. Anytime you're doing something for the first time, there's going to be a level of initial nervousness that goes along with it. Here's what I will tell you. As training progresses, those feelings are going to subside, and they're going to be replaced by confidence. And I'm going to make sure that I do my job damn well to see that happens. There's a handful of people that come into training on the first day, and they're freaking out. They're like, Brian, this is my first job, right? And they have like no idea what to do. Listen, if that's you, I'm just telling you, by the end of the day today, you're going to go, okay, dude, I can do this. Give me the knives. By the end of the day tomorrow, you're going to be burning rubber out of this parking lot to go earn your first couple promotions and make those first couple sales. Most people come into the training very confident in the product, very confident in our programs, and they just need to be taught everything, and they know they're going to do well. And then we also have a lot of people come in who they just know they're going to crush it. They have some self-confidence. A lot of times they have friends who have worked here and done really well, and they're like just ready to sell. They're like, dude, just give me the knives. I get it. Soccer moms. Let's go. If that's you, that is kind of weird because I haven't taught you anything yet, but you know what? More power to you. Here's what I want you to know. And you don't necessarily need to write down what I'm about to say, but I really want you to be engaged with my following sentence. Okay, so listen very closely. What I'm about to teach you over the next 2 days, this is not theory. Selling Cutco is not an art form. It is a science, okay? We have a proven program and process to be highly successful with the job. And if you want to be highly successful, follow that program and that process. It's a formula, and it's so exact. If you plugged it into your TI-83 calculator, it would come out the exact same way every single time. Follow that program, follow that process, and you're going to be highly successful. One thing you'll probably notice as you meet people that are on my leadership team, as you meet other people in the training seminar, is that we don't work with one specific personality type. What we look for are qualities and traits in people. All of you have different strengths. That's why you're selected for the job. The bottom line is, regardless of the type of personality you have, you follow our program and our process, you're absolutely going to crush the job. Cool? I want to take a second to officially welcome you to our team. If you haven't been able to tell yet, there's a different atmosphere and a different feel and a different culture here than other places you've probably worked in the past. And you guys had jobs? Past jobs? Cool. So past jobs, you may have been a number. You may have, thank you very much. You may have been a number. You may have been a paycheck. You may have been replaceable. You may have been just a body. Here, that's a whole hell of a lot different. Okay, this is a team. Now, on this team, we have quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. You know what? We also have O&D linemen. We have kickers. Everyone plays an important role, okay? Whatever role you see yourself playing, let me tell you, it's a damn important one. And that being said, I want you to know this isn't just any office. This office is referred to what is a pillar organization inside of Cutco. All that means is that this office sells more. The representatives that work out of this office sell more, they make more, they win trophies, they win prizes, they win trips, they make more money. You know, this office, like I mentioned a moment ago, has been the #1 office in the country for 36 consecutive months. For the past 3 years in a row, this office has sold somewhere between $1.5 and $2 million in sales revenue each and every single year. I am not telling you that to impress you, but more so to impress upon you the quality of the training, the quality of the program and process, and the quality of the leadership team that we have in place. we're really excited to have you here. I'm from Carolina originally. I say what's on my mind. I say y'all. I curse from time to time, but I'm really excited to be in Nova. I recently moved to Northern Virginia in November, and I just love the area. I love the fact that I work with well-educated young people. This is the hotbed of leadership in this country, and I couldn't be more excited to be here in Northern Virginia. You guys. So again, I want to officially welcome you all to training. I want to begin to lay a foundation for what is going to be like working with us in terms of expectations. So in your notes, you can label these things as keys to success. I'm going to talk about some expectations. You are probably starting to realize that you have not been recruited onto any team. You have been recruited onto one of the top teams in the country. Okay, if you play college basketball, this is getting recruited to Carolina or Duke or Kentucky. Okay, you play college football, this is like getting recruited to Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. And to be a leader on this team, there are some expectations. Now, before I talk to you about what I'm going to expect from all of you, let me first talk to you about what you can expect from me and from everyone that's in a leadership position in this organization. So these are the expectations that you can have of us, okay? First and foremost, number one, 100% commitment to you and to your success. Your success is our success. Let me let you in on a little secret. I do not have a salary. I do not have a wage. I make zero money hourly. That's just not how things work here. Your assistant managers don't get paid like that either. We simply get paid based upon the results of this organization, of this office. In order for the management team to succeed to a high level personally, who must succeed to a high level first? You're damn right. So you know what, David, I'm never going to teach you to do something that doesn't work. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for me. Okay? If I ever tell you not to do something, guess what? Probably don't do it. You know, you can if you want, but in my time of training over 4,000 college students and selling about $100,000 in Cutco before getting into a full-time management role, I've seen a lot of people make a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes personally. I'm going to try to save you from some of that stuff. So we're going to be 100% committed to you at all times. Here's what you need to know. You don't work for me. I work for you. Any great leader is a servant leader. We're here to help you get what you want to out of the job. We're here to support and challenge you. That's number one. Number two, you can expect us to be available for you. Availability is an expectation. Now, I'm not going to say that we're going to be available 24/7, but I will tell you it'll be pretty damn close, okay? There's never any time too late or too early to call into the office. One thing I do want you to make a note on, if you haven't already, this may be something that was discussed in your interview. If not, please star, circle, highlight, underline this. Coaching calls, okay? Under the banner of availability, when you're a new sales representative, for your first, couple weeks, couple months on the job, we are going to have a 2 to 5 minute coaching call with you following every presentation that you do. And it's basically like calling a timeout in basketball, right? Let's debrief. What happened? What results did we get? Did anything come up that you weren't really sure how to answer or how to respond or react to? And what we're going to be able to do is teach you based on the experiences and the situations that you're encountering. What those coaching calls do is they cut your learning curve down dramatically, okay? I'm of the opinion, in doing this for a decade and training reps for a long time, that those coaching calls are the most important ingredient in a new representative's success. And again, there's never any time too late or too early to call into the office. Last week we had a call came in on Saturday. And listen, it wasn't a monster sale. It was maybe $1,500, something like that, give or take. It wasn't huge, but it was called in after 11 o'clock on a Saturday. We had a rep who was new and had done a full day of demos, and the last one was their parents, right? And they started it late night, and they called in late night. We gave them a slamming deal on a set of Cutco, and their parents got a discount. They were fired up. Never any time too late or too early to call into the office. So availability is an expectation that you can have. We're going to be here for you. Number three, third expectation, is you can expect me to be really open and honest with you. And, let me further explain what I mean is I tend to be pretty blunt. I kind of call the shots like I see them. I don't tend to sugarcoat things. I'm going to be really open and really honest with you, and I want you to be the same way with me. Do you think at some point in time, it's normal for you to feel overwhelmed, or out of your comfort zone? Yeah, that's why you're doing the job, right? Because it's not the normal college kid job. It teaches you how to manage your time. It puts you outside your comfort zone from time to time. Are those good things? Yeah. Why are they good things?
Because they like develop your character.
These are signals of growth. These are signals of character development. Those are the things that make you a more capable, more impressive version of yourself. So when you're feeling those types of emotions, there's a couple options, right? The first thing that you can do is you can bottle it. What tends to happen when you do that?
You explode.
At some point in time, yes, things boil over, right? You could choose to, kind of express your emotion to people like friends and family, which initially feels like the right decision, right? But here's why I want you to talk to me or someone on the management team first. Anything that you're going through, guess what?
Is normal.
And we've already been through it. Anything you're feeling, guess what? Already felt it. And so we're going to be here to be able to really resonate with you, to empathize with you, but also to give you direction and help you work through those things. So my point is this. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling uncomfortable, first of all, those things are good. Secondly, talk to me. And I want to have a really open, honest line of communication between you and I. Is that cool? Cool. So that's what you can expect from us. All right. Let me talk to you about what I'm going to expect from all of you. These are the expectations that I have of representatives and managers working in my sales organizations. First and foremost, number one is a positive attitude and positive expectations. Positive attitude, positive expectations. Literally, guys, we're the most positive people that y'all will ever meet. Okay, it's a lot of high fives and handshakes around here. Everyone's young, motivated, fired up, and here's the deal. I think everyone knows to have a positive attitude. The more important point here are positive expectations. Let me tell you a universal truth that I have found being on this planet as long as I have. Everything in life happens twice. Okay? It happens right here first, and then it happens in real life. Expectations create reality. Your expectations create reality. So when I talk about expectations and positive attitude and positive expectations, think about it like this. The best players in the NBA, when they go for a shot, what do they expect to happen? Every single time. Do they ever shoot the ball expecting to miss? No. Every single demo that you go into, what should you expect to happen?
To sell.
If you don't expect to sell, don't even go. Don't even go to the damn demo. Because expectation creates reality. Does that make sense? And guys, really, do you even have to sell Cutco? No. What does Cutco do? That's exactly right. Okay? So you follow the program process, the knives are going to sell themselves. All right. So that's number one. Positive attitude, positive expectations. Number two, I want you to help others. Help others. So let me make this really clear. You guys have a training manual in front of you. Let me go ahead and give you one of these as well. Okay? So here's what I want you to know. This training manual, this is the job. It's a 9-page long script. I literally want you to read it word for word for like your first 20, 30 presentations, give or take. Okay? Now, here's the deal. If you can read, you can sell Cutco. Okay? Now, if you're like, oh my God, I have to read, don't worry. There's pictures. Okay? There's even a sentence that says, turn the page, cut the rope, right? It's all in here for you. Guys, here's what I'm going to tell you. It's not hard to sell Cutco. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, it is not hard to sell a product that has outsold its nearest competitor by $160 million a year. Okay, it's not hard to sell a product that's been number one in its industry for longer than anyone inside of this office has been alive on the planet. Okay, it's not hard to sell a product that the troops in Afghanistan and Iraq use. It's not hard to sell Cutco. Again, you don't really even have to sell Cutco. What does Cutco do? That's right. Do you think the question is, do people buy these knives? Is that really the question? No. What's the real question? How much do they get? What do they get? Everyone gets something. This stuff is awesome. Okay. So the job is more about two things than it is anything else. You want to know what those two things are? Number one is working hard. And number two is being really excited about the product. Work hard, follow our program, and just be enthusiastic about the product itself. Listen, you're all in the same shoes, meaning you're new, you're a little bit anxious right now. Like I said, I'm just telling you, by the end of the day today, you're going to say, okay, I get it. Just give me the sample kit. I'm ready to go make sales right now. You're going to be tapping your foot halfway through the day tomorrow, just waiting for me to stop talking so you can go out there and make sales. So I'm going to get you prepared for that. All right, so help others. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is very simple. Be responsible. Be responsible. Here's what that means to me. What that means to me is really simple. Do what you say you're going to do. That's it. Do you think I'm necessarily hung up on how often you want to work and how many demos you want to be doing on a weekly basis? Nope. You know, as long as you're treating it like a job and not like a hobby, we're fine. Here's what I expect. I expect that you follow through with what you tell me you're going to do. When adults say they're going to do something, what happens?
I do.
You follow through. And so that's all I expect. You know, if you say, hey, I'm going to do 6 appointments this week, what do I expect? Yeah, that's it. Let me tell you something. At the stage I'm at in my career, I don't care about the results. You know why? I know that we're going to sell the knives. You know, this office is going to do $1.5 to $3 million in sales revenue every single year. I don't care about the results. What I care about more than anything is effort, follow through, communication. Those are the most important parts of the job. Cool? So, be responsible. Number 4, educate yourself. Don't take my word for it. Okay? Go educate yourself in the marketplace. Today, I'm going to show you, today one of the things we're going to talk about is the competition and other brands and knives on the market. And I'm going to walk you through some high-end German brands and high-end Japanese brands. And I'm going to go over the prices of these knives, right? And I'm going to show you low-quality stuff that doesn't compare to Cutco and high-quality stuff that does. Go do your own research. Go into the stores. Look at this stuff for yourself because it's going to build that much more conviction. On that note, at some point in time during this training, you're probably going to tune me out. It's really natural. When you tune me out, read the walls. Okay, this is such an important tip because I'm the owner of this place and I could have decorated this place with a whole bunch of really nice, expensive artwork. Instead, what I did is I took a lot of stuff I knew about selling a lot of Cutco and I put that stuff on the walls instead. How many of you have heard about the Fast Start contest? You guys heard about this yet? Okay, go ahead and write that down in your notes big and bold. Okay, Fast Start contest. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in detail here in a bit, but this is a contest that we set up for every rep their first 10 days on the job. Okay, and here's what I'm going to tell you. This is the single most badass contest you've ever been a part of in your entire life. I would say that 95% of the sales reps I train, they work harder their first 10 days a lot of times than they do any other time on the job because this contest is really cool. So we'll talk about it more in detail. But, I know you've had a couple friends that have worked here in the past, and I think a couple more of you were recommended to the job as well. A lot of our top sales reps guys will go out and they'll sell $10,000+ their first 10 days. Now, I know that number probably sounds massive to you right now because you don't have much of a point of reference. Just keep in mind that $10,000 in sales over 10 days is an average of how much a day? It's a sale or two a day. What's our average customer spend?
330.
That number includes no sales. That's if you're messing up. If you're doing the job, you're selling somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000. $330, that's our average order if you're messing up. So on average, it's how many orders a day? 1 to 3. By a show of hands, how many of you feel you could write up somewhere between 1 and 3 orders a day? Yeah, I think so too. Now, there's a lot of people who will shoot to sell $10,000 and they'll fall a little bit short, right? Hunter Boone is a great example of that. Hunter Boone, senior in high school when he started working here and was wrestling, his goal was to sell $10,000. He didn't hit his goal. He fell a little bit short. He sold like $7,000. Here was the consolation prize though. He made $1,300 his first 10 days. And for his first 10 days, he was making nothing less than 25% commission. After another week, he hit the dirty 30 commission level. You know what? You know why people really bust their butt their first 10 days? Because think about it like this. If you're working part-time, let's just say, how many hours a week is a normal part-time job for most college students, high school students?
10 hours.
Yeah, 10, 20 hours a week. Let's just call it 5 appointments. You go out and do 5 appointments, you're probably going to sell on how many out of the 5?
3, 2.
Let's try that again. Let's say you go out and do 5 appointments. Out of the 5, how many are you going to sell on?
5.
There we go. Why?
Because you're always
Because expectation creates reality. Now, if we're talking about average, yeah, it's probably 4, 3 or 4. You know, do you guys remember what percentage out of 10 people buy on average?
7.
That's right. 7 out of 10 buy on average. Average order is 330. So out of 5, it's probably 4. You know, give or take. If you look at 4, and let's just call it a $300 average order to keep my math easier. That's $1,200. 30% of $1,200 is $400. Working, give or take, 10 hours a week. $400, that is what your friends are making working full-time jobs. But they're not even making that. Working full-time jobs in the summertime. That's why people bust their ass their first 10 days on the job here. So when you tune me out, read the walls, you want to know how to crush your first 10 days on the job? Read the walls. Okay? So it's all here for you. All right? Educate yourself. Last expectation, number 5, is this. Make the most out of training. You only get to go through training once. I say this with the fear of sounding cocky or arrogant, but I am one of, if not the best trainer in the entire company. And I don't say that, again, to impress you, but to impress upon you what you're really getting here, okay? Seminar once. Let me ask you a question. What if I told you that the effort you put into this training meant the rest of your life? What if I told you this? What if I guaranteed the effort that you put in and how hard you worked during your first week or 2 here, what if I guaranteed that was going to create financial independence for you for the next 3 to 5 years or more? How hard would you work?
120%.
Damn right. That's what it did for me. It's what it's done for hundreds, thousands of sales reps that I've trained in the past. Better than that. What if I told you that the effort you put into this job your first 2 weeks, what if I told you that was going to land you your dream job when you graduated from college? What if I told you that's what got you into your graduate program, into your dream med school? How hard would you work then? And I want you to know that is what this is designed to do. How many of you know what a 5-star high school athlete is? You guys familiar with that? 5-star high school athletes? Where can 5-star recruits play? Anywhere they want. We create 5-star recruits in real life. My objective, by the time you're graduated from college, is that because of the skills, the confidence, the poise, and the resume that you developed here with Cutco, that you are the #1 most sought after college graduate in your graduating class, regardless of your class rank or your GPA. That's my objective of you working here. And by the way, that's why I love what I do. If you were to ask me, so you've done this knife job for a decade, right? What? People ask me about, like, I've been with the same company since I'm 17 years old. And when people ask me why, that's why. That's why. I want to positively, dramatically impact the lives of over 1 million young people. And this is the greatest vehicle I can possibly think of to do that with. So really zero in to things like your assignments, right? You got an assignment after your interview. Did you? And hey, Joseph kind of checked that as you came in, and I'm going to talk to you about where you are as far as that goes on the break. One of the assignments tonight, though, will be to expand that, right? Let me tell you something. That nameless assignment that you guys have, do you know how much time I put into that outside of training? A lot. A lot. There is nothing that's created more of a return on investment for my time than that assignment when I was 17 years old. I'm going to give you assignments in training. Are the assignments for me? Am I a school teacher? Am I grading the assignments? No. Who are the assignments for? So take good notes. You know, be an aggressive learner. Be engaged in the process. You do those things, and you're going to get a lot more out of the training. You're going to be a lot more successful with what you're doing here. So, again, really excited to have you here, guys. You know, and here's what I'll tell you. Some of you are going to be with me for a semester. Some of you will be with me for a year. And I'll tell you this, if you're one of my top people, my objective is that you're here for 3 or 4 years while you're in college. and that you have an opportunity to get into my leadership academy and eventually to get into a management opportunity or even get a chance to run a branch like Joseph and Justin did. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. There is nothing, not one damn thing that you could do between the ages of 17 and 23 that would be more impactful for the 5, 10, 15 plus years of your life outside of college graduation than having an opportunity to be a branch manager with Cutco. It is the single most impressive thing that a young person in this country can have on their resume. As far as personal and professional development, skill development, nothing compares to that. And my objective is that you're with me for quite a while. Now, this is the first day of training. So here's what I do know. Regardless of how long you work here, myself and my management team are going to make sure that you get 2 things out of the job. These 2 things are my objectives while you work here. So I want to be really clear on what it is I want to help you get. Number 1, the first thing is financial success, okay? I want you to make a lot of money. I want you to make so much money that you redefine what your idea of a lot of money is, okay? The average college student will make, give or take, $2,000, $3,000 in income in the summertime. My top college students make more than that their first 10 days on the job. The best ones I train make that much their first day or 2 on the job. It's not everyone. I'm telling you my top people, but certainly I want you to do really well financially, and here's why. I remember getting out of the interview. I'm on my way home. My dad's asking me about the job, and the job is hard to explain to people when you're new. Yes? You guys found that? Right? So I remember my dad, when I told him about the job, selling knives, blah, 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 my dad's like, you're an idiot. You're not going to make any money doing that. You need to get a real job. Right? My mom was just very, skeptical. She was like, Brian, you don't cook. I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to cook for these people. It's show and tell. I show them it. I tell them about it. They buy it. The stuff is awesome. I'm telling you. When I show you, Mom, you're going to buy the whole damn set. My mom goes, well, let me stop you right there because you can practice with us, but we're not buying anything. I go, let me tell you, Mom, you see these knives, you're going to buy the whole damn set. Anyway, so my mom was skeptical. My dad was unsupportive. I want you to be successful financially for this reason. It is evidence of success. Do you get grades and report cards here? What are your grades and report cards called?
Paychecks.
Bingo, because that's what Mom and Dad and everyone else sees as far as how well you're doing with the job. So my mom was very skeptical initially, and then I went out and I made $497 my first 2 days on the job. Do you think she was skeptical anymore? No. In fact, I think it was right then and there that she decided that both my younger siblings would be selling Cutco at some point in time too. I remember going out and I didn't blow it out of the water, but I did make about $1,800 my first 10 days, which was as much money as I made almost the whole last summer working. So I want you to be really successful financially because it's evidence of success. The other reason is this: when you're successful financially, you're hitting your goals individually. When you're hitting your goals individually, this team hits their goals as a team. Our goal this year is to do over $2 million in sales revenue from new sales reps just like you. Now, can I let you in on a secret? That's never happened ever in the history of our company. So our goal was to break the all-time record this year. And we don't do that unless you hit your goals first. That being said, I have to break the mold with you. This is not your old job. You cannot treat this like your old job. You guys had jobs before? Where have you worked? Where have you guys worked?
Foster's Grill.
Cool. What are you doing there?
Busboy.
Busboy, right? So think about it like this, right? Foster's Grill, lifeguard, bellman at the hotel, right? Pizza boy, whatever it is. Think about any past jobs you've had. Let's pretend before going into Foster's that day, you decide mentally, you're like, you know what? I'm going to bust my ass today. I'm going to work harder today than I've worked any other day in my life. I'm going to show up early. I'm going to leave late. I'm going to go well above and beyond the normal duties and responsibilities that I have for my position. I'm going to demonstrate leadership abilities. I'm going to put passion and energy into my work. I'm going to crush it. Would you make any more money than anyone else made that day?
No.
So was there a reason for you to show up early and leave late?
No.
Demonstrate leadership abilities?
No.
Who really gives a shit? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to make more money. You're not going to get promoted. Here, that is 180 degrees different. Here, if you work harder and you do more demos, you make more money. Here, if you work harder and you do more demos, or if you're just better at the job, and you perform at a higher level, you get promoted. You win prizes. You win trips. You win trophies. You make more money. See, I want you to understand this job is different. I'm not going to stamp you on the head and tell you what I think your value is. For the first time in your young lives, I'm going to let you determine that for yourself. I don't write your paychecks. Guess who does? You do. You do. How does that feel? Now, that being said, money's not everything. I'm not telling you that it is. People tell me all the time, well, money can't buy happiness. You know what? You're right. Neither can poverty. And let me tell you something. The only time people are ever worried about money is when they don't have enough of it. Right? And when you have enough of it, it allows you to not worry about it and focus on the things that are really important to you. And that's what I'm passionate about. So that's number one. I want you to be successful financially. So again, dig in, take notes, be engaged, ask good questions, get to know your managers, work really hard during your first week or two on the job. Now, that being said, don't neglect your obligations and your responsibilities, right? But do as much as you can, maximize your time. So that's the first objective. Now, the second and the much more important objective I have of you working here is that you develop meaningful work experience. Meaningful. You know, honest work is honest work. I'm not putting down any jobs at all. I'm not putting down any internships, but let me tell you, do you know what percentage of college students walk into my office and they've had an internship with XYZ company, their dad's buddy's company, they've had this family connection, get them this internship, and they think that this is impressive?
Everyone?
Every single student that comes in here.
Yeah.
And it's not impressive. You know why? Because 99% of the time, those internships, what are they?
They were kind of like a gift from like a different person, like
It was bullshit. What were they really doing?
trying to
Getting
impress
coffee.
you.
They were getting coffee, making copies, and trying to impress me because they have this title on their resume. Did they develop a skill set that's transferable?
Possibly, but very little.
Probably not. Because think about it, XYZ company, dad's buddy's company where he's the president, right? And you're an intern in the office. Are they going to have an 18 or a 19-year-old making decisions that actually impact the organization?
No.
Probably not.
They can probably make coffee.
Maybe make coffee.
They can make you coffee.
Maybe observe decisions being made, right? The bottom line is, do you know what percentage of students right now are graduating with at least a 3.0 and an internship on their resume? That's it.
Yeah.
65%. Guys, I just got to tell you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's a really tough job market out there right now for college grads. And newsflash is, it ain't getting better anytime soon. Because the value of a college degree is going further and further down. Why?
Everyone's going
Because more and more people have them. Law of supply and demand. More so many people have, the less valuable it is. Right? Now, 20 years ago, right, you're probably one thing that you hear from parents, adults, teachers in your life is make good grades, right? Good grades, and get an internship while you're in college. And when you graduate, you're going to get a good job. How many of you have heard something like that? Probably 18 years of your life, you heard something similar. And do you know why those adults were telling you that?
to work for them.
Because for them, that was real. 20 years ago, going to college and making good grades and having an internship completely separated you from your peer group. Today,
You're the same.
you're the same as
If you don't have
everybody
anything, then
else.
you're not going to get a job at all. So
Bingo.
Yeah.
you have to be like on top.
Bingo. You have to have something that stands out,
Mhm.
right? And as far as meaningful work experience, that's why I love what I do. That is why our company has been adopted into 9 state college classrooms around the country, including Rutgers, NC State, LSU, Purdue, Illinois State, San Diego State, among others. That is the reason we've been highlighted in CNBC, Entrepreneur.com. That is the reason that we've been referenced in 52 collegiate textbooks. Because the experience that people develop here is next to nothing. To give you an example, my brother Chris graduated with a finance degree from UNC Charlotte and a 2.8 cumulative GPA. Not too hot. He went on 7 job interviews out of college. And he wasn't interviewing with slump companies. I mean, he interviewed with GE, Johnson & Johnson, Whirlpool Corporation, MetLife. He interviewed with a couple large consulting firms. And on his interviews, he went 7 for 7. Guess how many times he was asked about his grades?
Probably not.
0. Guess how many times he was asked about Cutco?
All of them. Interview.
It was the only thing that he talked about in interviews. It was the only thing they were. Tell me about this. That is the power of what you're getting here. So yeah, you're gonna make a lot of money, but that's really a byproduct of what you're really getting. Right? That's an illustration of what you're really getting, which is the type of experience that completely separates you from your peer group. And again, that's why I love what I do. You know, I just had a conversation with a young man named Steve Onak last night, and he was this is a young man that worked with me in 2014. So this is 4 years ago, and he just graduated, got a kick-ass job in software sales, and he was just calling me to shower some love and say, hey, I have a great story for you. I wanted to tell you about this. And those calls, that's why I do what I do. It's so fun, it's so cool. When, you know, I have a student who worked with me for 3 summers and was like, dude, I just wanted to like tell you how impactful this was for my life. So those are the things that I want you to gain while you're working here. Now, that being said, let's take a second to get on the same page. We sell knives. Is everybody okay with that? Are you sure? Because I thought it was weird at first. I'll admit it, I did. And then I went home and I watched a television show called The Office. You guys ever seen that? And they sell paper. And that's really weird. And it was watching The Office that I decided, you know what, if I'm going to sell something, it's at least going to be something everyone needs and uses. Frankly, it does not matter what creed, what color, what ethnicity, or religious background or belief someone has. You know what? Everyone uses knives to cut their food into a bite-sized portion before they put it to their mouth. You know, in the year 0, they were using knives. In the year 5000, we're still going to be using knives. It's a product that everyone needs and uses daily. So, okay, so here's what I want to do really quickly, gang. I want to go over a couple quick office rules, give you an outline of our training today. So this is nothing heavy duty, just a couple things to jot in your notes. Number 1, be on time. 15 minutes early. That just allows us to get started on time and allows you to get to know people. Be dressed properly, so look nice when you come in. You don't have to go out and buy a new wardrobe, but dress the part, look nice. Number 3, ask questions. For those of you that have been in college and sat in some college classrooms, you ever had one of those lectures that has like 200-300 people in it? You guys ever had something like that? I'll tell you this, at University of Maryland, you certainly will. Some of these bigger universities, you have psychology or biology, right? You're gonna have a few hundred students in that class. And what does the professor do the whole time? Talk. PowerPoint. I remember I didn't get anything as far as like my learning goes out of those types of like learning experiences. I don't want this to be a lecture. I want this to be a discussion. So I'm going to ask throughout the training, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, like a lot of them. Give me a second. I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions throughout the training. Interact with me. Even if they sound rhetorical, talk to me anyway. Because here's what I know. I know when I was in a smaller class size and I was more engaged in the learning process, I always got a lot more out of it. So ask questions. That being said, though, do not ask any questions that seek failure. Okay? Generally, failure-seeking questions start with what words? Those are the ones. Don't ask me a damn question that starts with what if. Okay? Because expectations create reality. If you have one of those what if questions, I want you to suppress that thought. Okay? Because nothing positive comes from those types of questions. But dig in, ask questions. I want you to be engaged. Yes. Yeah, see if they're different. They're probably similar. Okay. But if they are different, yeah, let's know that. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, get to know the managers. Most of the managers are students just like you, and they have sold tens and thousands, hundreds of thousands. Joseph, how much Cutco have you sold at this point? $300,000 in Cutco, right? Justin Sanders over $100,000 in Cutco sales. And a lot of these people are your age, a couple years older than you are, students, recent graduates. So get to know the managers. They're fantastic. And then let's see. Number 5 is really simple, and that's just study your materials, right? In school, you study. And why do you do that? To make a good grade on a piece of paper, right? Here, when you study, what does it translate into?
Money.
Income, directly. So, so as far as things like, again, your assignments and just reviewing your training materials, put time and effort into that. The more time and effort you put in, you are rewarded what you do outside of these four walls with what happens when you go on demos. Okay, and then so that's number 5. All right, so cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we want to do here. As far as the training today, what we're going to do is real simple. I'm going to walk you through this training manual. Okay, and we're going to go over 95% of the presentation here right now. Okay, and the how is right here. Like all the lyrics are right here. One of the things I'm going to talk to you a lot about throughout the day is why we say what we say. Because if you understand the psychology behind these things, you're going to better communicate these ideas to customers. So we're going to walk through the presentation today, and you'll know about 95% of it within the next hour or two. Okay. After that, we're going to talk about the competition. We're going to talk about all the other brands of knives that are on the market. We're going to talk about stuff that doesn't compare to Cutco. We're going to talk about stuff that does and that's higher quality. We're also going to talk today about the difference between value and price. Right? Are value and price different? Very. So we're going to clearly define what value is, what price is, and what is the importance of the relationship between those two things. We're also going to do some identifying of spending trends of people in your age group and compare them to people in our target market. And you're going to see very quickly why it is we sell so much Cutco. Today, we're also going to talk about, we'll also talk about how to schedule appointments. Super easy, okay? The way I teach you how to schedule appointments today and how to make phone calls, literally 99.9% of people are going to schedule an appointment with you. The only reason why they don't is if, like, for some reason, if they're out of town or something for the weekend. It's super simple. It's basically like asking a neighbor for a stick of butter or a couple eggs for a recipe because you're out. Super simple. So we're going to do a brainstorming activity together, and we're going to start to expand the list that you made at home. Then we're going to narrow it down and figure out who are our best people. Then I'm going to walk you through how to make phone calls. And then before you leave, we're going to help you get your first 7 to 10 appointments or so scheduled here from the office. Tomorrow, we'll give you a chance to schedule another 5 or 10. Tomorrow, we'll do things like how to turn in orders, how to ask for recommendations. We'll walk through the virtual demo. I will talk about the Fast Start contest in detail tomorrow. I will also talk about the advertising bonus program in detail tomorrow. I know Vera and a couple of you were recommended to the job by a friend, so we'll talk about that in detail tomorrow. Hold off on that. It's very exciting, but we'll get to it. So tomorrow we'll talk about contests, and we're just basically tying a bow on it before you guys get out of here to go knock out a couple promotions and get your Fast Start off the ground. So cool. Any questions on that? All right, let's start digging in. So go ahead and pull out your white manuals. If you look at your training manuals here, the first thing you're going to want to do is just write your name up top, okay? Your rep number, don't worry about that. You're going to get that tomorrow. The office identification code is right here on the board. Office phone number is right here. Training coordinators is myself. So you can go ahead and fill out some of that information on the front. Now, that being said, this training manual is yours, okay? And here's what I'm going to tell you. This thing is perfect, okay? However, over the next 1 to 2 days, you might hear me say some things that are not necessarily typed into the white manual. I call that stuff Fairfax Fire special sauce. And those are the things that help our sales reps here in this organization sell more, make more than other reps throughout the country. To give you an idea of like metrics, on average, the representatives in this organization sell 3 to 4 times more, 300 to 400% more than other reps do in other parts of the country. The Fairfax Fire special sauce is the reason why. So you don't have to write those things into the manual. You don't have to use them. If you want to, feel free to write it in the margins. This is yours. If you use it on your demos, it'll help you sell more and make more. You totally don't have to. Up to you completely. Okay? So training coordinators, myself. Rep number, you're going to get that tomorrow. Office identification number, 3799. Office phone number right here. By the way, when you call that office phone number, again, never anytime too late or too early to call into the office. I don't have people camped out here, but what happens is that office cell phone that office number, forwards to everyone's cell phone at the same time. And let me tell you something. I pay Justin and Joseph and everyone else on my leadership team very well to answer that phone whenever it rings. So you call that phone, you're going to get in touch with someone. So that's the number. Moving forward, if you need to get in touch with us, this is the number that you want to reach out. Cool. We're also going to fill in things like team meetings and advanced training times later on today and tomorrow. So you don't need to worry about that for right now. Okay? You guys ready to rock and roll? All right, let's do it to it. Go ahead and flip over and open up your training manual. And we're going to read through this popcorn style here. And Miss Allie, I'm going to have you get started for us. So at the very top, why don't you go and start there on tips for the demo.
Tips for your demo. Follow the manual, cut a lot of food, have fun, call the office for help/deals.
Okay. So here's what I want you to know. And listen closer to this one. This is an important one. Training class. If you forget everything that I teach you over the next 2 days, all you need to do are remember the next 4 things. And I'm gonna expand on these couple things just a little bit, okay? If you forget everything, all you need to do, remember the next 4 things. Here's what they are. Number 1, follow your manual, okay? I literally want you to read this thing word for word for your first 20, 30, 40 presentations. Don't even worry about making eye contact, okay? I know that you probably think that's weird, but keep in mind, there's a misconception in sales that you have to make eye contact with people. Most people think you have to make eye contact to create what? A connection and trust. Who are you seeing for your first few weeks or months on the job?
Family.
People that you know, people that you're at least acquainted with. You already have a relationship with these people, right? So the more dorky and robotic you feel during the first 2-3 weeks, the better you're doing. Here's why this is so important. When you're following this training manual word for word, here's the price of Cutco. Again, what do our sets run?
Like
Yeah, they cost like what a flat screen or a MacBook would, right? Somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000, okay? So if this is the price, when you read this training manual word for word, here's what happens. You build 100% of the value in the product. Now, when the value for Cutco is way up here and the price is only right here, what happens?
They buy.
Damn right they do. Okay, here's the problem though. If let's say that 50% of the time you're following the manual, but let's say 50% of the time you put into your own words. Are your words as good as our words?
Not yet.
Probably not yet. Here's the system, right? Memorize 20, 30, 40 appointments word for word. Memorize, personalize, customize. Okay, so when you're new, if you're only following the manual half the time, you're only building 50% of the value. Now, is it easier or is it harder to make the sale when you're only building 50% of the value? I've never seen it in my career. I've never seen a rep just go wing it and make a sale. But you read that thing word for word, you're going to sell on every single demo that you do. Okay? So, number 1, follow the manual. Okay, again, the more dorky and robotic you feel, the better you're doing. That's number 1. Number 2, what does it say there, Allie?
Cut a lot of food.
Cut a lot of food up. Okay, again, guys, you have to sell Cutco. Now, what does Cutco do?
Sell itself.
Do you really think the question is, do people buy the knives? Before we get something. The question is, how much do they get? Which set? What fits them or their family best? Right? That's why we sit down and do it. Do we sit down and do a demo for people to see if they're going to like Cutco? No, because as soon as someone sees Cutco, what happens?
They want it.
They want it. They fall in love with it. Okay, why are we doing a demo for someone?
So they buy it.
To figure out what set fits them best, you know? So you want to cut a lot of food. The more stuff you cut, the more stuff they buy. Are you with me on that? Okay. What's number 3 there, Allie?
Have fun.
Okay, this one's huge. I want to teach you something about sales. And this is something that you'll take with you the rest of your life, whether it's an interview that you're going into, whether it's any interaction that you have. Enthusiasm sells. Training class, enthusiasm is the key to persuasion without using any pressure at all. Enthusiasm is the key to persuasion without pressure. Okay? Now, here's what I want you to know. Your excitement, your enthusiasm level dictates the customers. The more excited you are, the more excited they are. As an example, if you're a 10 out of 10 excitement level, where are the customers probably at? Dude, we wish, but naturally there was going to be a couple levels below you. So if you're at a 10, where are they at?
About a 9.
Like an 8 or a 9? If you're at like an 8, where are they at?
Like a 6 or 7.
You making a sale around there? Probably not, right? So if you want them at a 10, where do you have to be?
12.
Yeah. Like you want to be the most enthusiastic person they've ever seen about anything. And with Cutco, it's really not hard. You know what we're going to do for like 30 minutes tomorrow? We're just going to cut a bunch of stuff up. Okay? It's awesome. You are going to love it. On the break, we're going to let you cut a little, like a couple things. We'll have you cut some leather and stuff. We'll have you cut some rope. But tomorrow, we're going to cut a bunch of food. Okay? And you are going to fall in love with the knives. And the last 4 letters of enthusiasm, IASM, stand for I am sold myself. Right? So your excitement, your enthusiasm dictates theirs. Here's what I want you to know. This statement's going to sound a little bit weird initially, but bear with me here, okay? People do not buy Cutco. What do they buy? They buy your belief and your conviction in the product. People don't buy this set of knives right there. What they buy, are you ready? What they buy is the fact that you genuinely believe that they should. Does that make sense? Enthusiasm sells. Okay? So go get really fired up about the knives. Here's the rule of thumb. The rule of thumb, you should feel a little bit awkward about how excited you are about the knives. If you don't feel a little bit awkward about the knives, how excited you are about the knives, get more excited about the knives. Hi there. Let's do this. Why don't we just, let's grab a chair from the back and we'll get her set up. What's your name?
Eunice.
Hi, Eunice. Nice to meet you. I'm Brian. How are you? We're gonna get you all set up. So, enthusiasm sells. Okay. Now, what is the last one here? What is number 4?
Call the office for help or
Call the office for help or deals. Now, here's what I want you to know. Training class, is the goal to go out there and make a bunch of money off your mom and your dad and your best friend's parents?
no.
No. Okay, that is not the goal. Now, it will happen as a byproduct of you being a great customer service rep, but you can't be there for you. Who do you need to be there for? For them. Okay? Here's what I want you to understand. If someone doesn't like the knives, you don't have to worry about calling into the office. But let me ask you this. Are you ever going to do a demo where someone's like, you know what? I just don't like Cutco. This stuff sucks. Is that ever going to happen? Never. Everyone that you show the product to loves it. If it was free, would they take it from you? Yeah. Are you sure? If they took it from you, would they use it?
Mm-hmm.
How often would they use it?
All the time.
Literally daily for the next 30 years of their life. Everyone wants it. Everyone loves it. Okay? So if the only thing that's holding them back from getting the set they want is price, what do?
You call.
You call. Because in training, I'm not going to be able to spend time going through all the different deals and discounts that we can do. There's so many. It's unbelievable. Okay? So here's what I want you to know. If they don't like the knives, don't call. If they're not going to use the knives, don't call. But if they love the knives, and the only thing holding them back is price, what do? Damn right. And we will hook you up. Here's my question for you. Are you okay with making a little bit less money in commission in order to give that customer a great deal?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We are too. Call in. Let's hook them up. By the way, you discount a set, you lose a little bit on commission. What is it really in the long run? It's nothing. Think about it like this. How long let's say that you go out, you make $100, $200, $300 in commission on a sale. How long are you going to have that commission for?
Not long.
Not long. How long are they going to have that Cutco for?
30 years.
Literally. They'll probably pass it down to their kids. So call in. We'll hook you up. And by the way, when you're giving people discounts and great deals, what do they tend to do at the end of the presentation?
Give you more connections.
They recommend you to a ton more people. So it's always a win-win. It's a win for them. It's a win for you. It's a win for everybody. So if you forget everything, Justin, can you get Eunice a blue book and a white book? If you forget everything, read the manual, cut a bunch of stuff up, get like weirdly excited about how awesome the knives are, okay, and call for slamming deals. That's it. That's as easy as, you know what? Here's what's fun. Check this out. Can I show you just how easy this job is? Can I show you why we sell? Like, because people ask me all the time, we do last year $267 million in sales with mainly 17 to 22-year-olds with zero sales experience. And when people are like, when I'm in networking groups or I'm working with other business owners and things like that, they're really intrigued by how we're able to do that. They're like, how? How do you do $250 million in sales a year with people who have never sold anything before? Let me show you how. Watch how easy this is. Right here on this page, what do you think you talk about? And by the way, feel free to flip through in your blue book too. So flip past that and look right here at this company page. Oh, Justin Vera doesn't have a correct blue book. Hook her up, if you can hook her up, thanks, brother. Okay, you have a scholarship binder. Okay, right here. What do you think we're talking about?
What is Cutco?
What is Cutco? The background about the company. Flip the page. Right here on this page. What are you talking about?
Other knives.
Other knives and the disadvantages of those knives. Okay, now right here on this page. What do you think you talk about right here? Quality of Cutco. Right here on this page, what do you probably talk about?
Guarantees.
Forever guarantee. Let me tell you something. Let me pause for a second. That right there, God bless you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. That's why everyone buys. This right here is why every single sales rep that I train is successful. This right here is why we sell in every neighborhood of the country, even in little podunk towns in North Carolina. There's not a product in the history of the universe that has a guarantee that can touch this. Okay, now flip the page. Right here on this page. What are you talking about?
Different options.
Yeah, different tools. And instead of doing more talking right here, what are you probably doing more of? Showing, cutting, demonstrating. This part's really fun. Turn the page. Right here on this page, what are you talking about? Set combinations. Color, price. Right? You just did a presentation. I haven't even taught you anything, and you just did the demo. That's how easy this is. Okay? So, let's go ahead and start digging into the presentation itself. Allie, go ahead and go back to those tips for the demo, and let's go ahead and read through those bullet points there.
So these.
Mm-hmm.
Best place for demos is the kitchen. Cooking environment, junk knives handy, no distractions. Best place to show husband and wife together if possible. Pennies made after 1983 are softer and easier to cut. Customers should do all food cutting / cut rope leather. You cut pennies.
Cool.
It's okay to bring food to the demo as well as asking your customers for food. Soft food, veggie or tomatoes or grapes. Veggies to peel with peeler, carrots or cucumbers, pineapple. Best for your best prospects.
Mm-hmm. Let me give you circle a couple things. Here's what you want to circle under food. Circle tomatoes or grapes. Circle carrots. When you do carrots, get the big long ones. You know what I'm talking about? That you can peel. Circle bread. Bring those things on every single demo that you do. Spend $5 at the grocery store for food for the week to cut stuff up on demos. Best money you'll ever spend. Spend $5-10 for groceries. Cut up a lot of stuff on. So bring these things with you on demos, and if customers have stuff they want to cut, do that too. Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. Keep going down.
Stay in control of your blue book. Flip the pages for your customers. Keep 2 hands on your blue book when you're not handling products.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your simple kit closed and pull out items as demo progresses.
Great.
If customer asks for price during your demo, respond with Miss Blank. I know you are excited. I promise I'll cover all of the prices at the end of the demo.
Uh-huh. Now let me ask you a question. If someone's asking prices, is that a good thing?
No.
Kind of,
Oh,
yes,
wait,
because they're
well.
interested.
Yeah.
In sales, what that's referred to as is an obvious buying signal. They go, well, do these come in any other colors? Well, how much is this? Those are the kind of questions that we love. Yeah, totally. Allie, keep going.
Always use your cutting board and clean up in the sink before you leave.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then what if they already own Cutco?
do full presentation. It's great practice. Many customers forget the important details.
Mm-hmm.
Ask for a customer testimonial for your blue book. Test your Cutco on rope and leather to determine if sharpening is needed. Guaranteed page explains refurbishing instructions. Closing process, use page 13, closing for Cutco owners. Create a Cutco wish list. Cutco's owners love upgrading to sets, adding accessories, and buying gifts.
So let me ask you a question by show of hands. How many people in here already know someone that owns Cutco? And if your hand's not raised, you do. You just don't know it yet. I mean, we have 17 million customers. There's 300 people in the 300, give or take, million people. 100 million households in America, give or take. And we have 17 million customers. What that means, give or take, is that one in every 5 or 6 homes in America already has Cutco in it, okay? Cutco owners are the easiest people to sell to. They always love it. They always want more. So if you don't know people if you don't think you know people that own Cutco, trust me, you do. You just don't know it yet because it's not normal conversation. Like, oh, what kind of kitchen knives do you guys have? Right? That's just not normal conversation. You're going to figure out as you start to do demos. My grandmother owned Cutco. I had no idea. So I do my first demo with one of my next door neighbors. Is a lady that I knew was going to buy from me. By the way, one of the biggest keys is you want to see your best people first. Why?
Because they're more likely to buy, and then you're more likely to like feel good and like be more enthusiastic with future customers.
Look at you. Look at you, Bear. So here's what it comes down to. Your first demos, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make this very clear. Your first 5 to 10 appointments, they are not for practice. What are they for? They're for confidence. Okay? The first 5 to 10 appointments are not for practice. They're for confidence. You want to see your best people first. Miss Ball, I knew she was going to buy from me. She loved to cook. She had 3 kids. I used to babysit her kids growing up. They owned a boat. I mean, I knew that this was going to be it. So I walked in, boom, sale, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that, in or out. One of the easiest presentations I've ever done in my life. I mean, this lady had a rec sheet of 15 prepared for me before I even asked for referrals. Okay, like easiest demo ever. Second demo was with my parents. Not quite as easy. My dad gave me hell. But you know, as soon as my mom cut the rope, oh my God! I was like, I told you, Mom. I told you were gonna love these knives, right? My parents get a set. My third demo was with my grandmother. And I'm running a little bit behind, and I don't need to build rapport with the woman. She loves me. So I walk in, I go, Grandma, you're gonna love these shears, okay? My grandmother goes, don't need them. Shit. I'm like, Grandma, yeah, you do. Okay, you love to crochet and all this stuff, arts and crafts. Trust me, you do. She goes, Brian, let me tell you, I already got the best shears. I don't need those shoes. She's a little lady from this big, lived in New York her whole life, right? I'm like, oh, Grandma, let me see your scissors. So she hands me these scissors. They're so old. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? And I flip them over, and barely visible, it says Cutco. I go, Grandma, these Cutco? She goes, yeah, they're called super shears. They're the best damn things ever made. I said, I know that. You want to know how I know that? That's what I'm selling. I'm selling Cutco, Grandma. She goes, oh, like the knives? Like the knife set? I said, yeah. She goes, I have a whole set of the knives. I said, I'm sorry, you have what? So I walk into her kitchen, and she hands me this knife. I'm going to pass this around for you. This is my grandmother's knife, by the way. Okay, I go, Grandma, that's not Cutco. This is Cutco, Grandma. She goes, oh, no, Brian, that's Cutco. Look at it. And then barely visible, it says Cutco on that blade. And I'm like, Grandma, because it didn't look the same at all. I'm like, Grandma, how old is this? She goes, I don't know. We bought it a couple years after your grandfather and I got married. We bought it in, I don't know, the 1950s. I said, I'm sorry, what? So let's put it this way. My grandmother had owned Cutco longer than my mom had been alive. So at this point, 1950, let's just call it 55, my grandmother's owned Cutco for like 60 years. Now here's what's cool. You ready to have your mind blown? This is my grandmother's chef knife. My grandmother, by the way, had a family of 8. My mom was one of 6 kids. She cooked every day. When I went to see these knives, and when I saw they were beat up, they were dull, they were terrible. I mean, they were bad. And I go, Grandma, I'm not going to lie to you. You can just send the whole set back and get a whole brand new set with a forever guarantee. She goes, what? I'm like, yeah, you don't remember that? She goes, I barely remember anything anymore. I didn't remember. I'm like, well, send it back. You'll get a brand new. She goes, well, I really want to buy a new set. I'm like, well, Grandma, you don't need to do that. Send it back. You'll get a brand new one anyway. She goes, no, I want to buy you one. I'm not going to argue with the woman. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it, right? So anyway, she gave me a couple of the old knives. This is one of them. This knife in 60 years has been resharpened twice. Okay. Go and try to do that with a single knife you have in your kitchen drawer. That's the quality of the product that you represent. So when you go see Cutco owners, you're going to understand why they love this stuff so much. That is unbelievable. So my grandmother was my first Cutco owner. That was really cool. So always make sure you schedule people to tell you they own Cutco. Those are going to be some of your most fun demos. Okay, let's go ahead and start digging into the presentation. Vera, why don't you go ahead and start from the top of page 1 right there for me? It's pretty cool, isn't it?
So the first thing we should do is find something to compliment, get to know them, ask a lot of questions. The 6 P's: plant, pets, photos, flakes, profession, and the people, so kids.
Yep. So, and how long does it recommend, Vera, to do that?
10 minutes.
Yeah. Now, let me give you my first bit of Fairfax Fire special sauce. Okay, this is the fire sauce. First tip. I would try to double that if I were you. Try to spend 15 to 20 minutes building rapport with customers. I want to just be really very clear with you. The more they like you, what happens?
The more they're going to buy from
The
you.
more they buy from you and the more people they refer you to. Let me tell you something. When I was a sales rep, I was proudly a rapport selling sales representative. Do you know what I mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. When I was new, my demo was terrible. Okay, it was really, really bad. It was all over the place. It was really disorganized. But I sold in almost every single demo that I did. Do you know why? Because they liked me and the product was incredible. By the time I was done building rapport with customers, what were they planning on doing?
Buying.
Yep. They hadn't even seen the product yet. But because of the relationship we had built, they were already planning on buying. And so the more rapport you build, the more you're going to sell, the more referrals you're going to get, the more comfortable you and your customer are going to be. So build a lot of rapport. The more rapport you build, the better. Now, if you look in your manuals there, you're going to see a part that says personal story. Let me tell you a little bit about me. What I used to say is, Miss Jones, let me tell you a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Chatham County, North Carolina, out in the middle of nowhere. And I go to school at UNC Charlotte, where I'm studying finance. My minor's in consumer psychology. And then under where it says, I'm working with Cutco because, see where it says tie into goals? I said, I'm working with Cutco because it's really great experience for my resume. And I'm beginning to completely separate myself from my peer group. The other reason I'm working with Cutco is because I want to make enough income to be able to put myself through college and remove the financial burden of school from my family. And this has been the best fit I could possibly find to combine meaningful work experience and the opportunity to make a lot of income while I'm in school and put myself through college without taking loans. Whatever you want to say, go ahead and write a sentence or two under each of those sections right there. Go ahead and do that. So let me tell you a little bit about me, where you're from, where you want to go to school, what you want to study. Maybe you talk about why. And then tie into goals, I'm working with Cutco because. Now, why are we building rapport and sharing our goals? Like, why do you want to tell the customer why you're working with Cutco? Why does that even matter?
Because you're creating a connection with them, and then they feel closer to you, and then they trust you.
Vera, let me ask you this. People in my parents' age group, in general, what do they think about people in your age group?
That's a good question.
It is.
I mean, from what my dad says, he's like, you guys don't have good work ethic. You don't know this. You don't know that.
Do you feel like that about yourself?
I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah, there's some things I can improve on, right? But like
Yeah.
the general consensus is you're all about instant gratification. There's a lack of grit, right? There's a lack of work ethic, things like that.
We spend too much time online.
All these things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When someone in your dad's age group and my mom's age group sees someone in your age group that's hardworking, motivated, goal-oriented, what do they want to do?
Help them out.
Damn right. So one of the reasons that we tie people into our goals is so they know that you're not just there to do what?
No.
To sell and leave. You know, if you do a great job, I was really good at sharing my goals. You know, I wanted to win an All-American scholarship and place as one of the top 50 students in the country. I wanted to have an opportunity to get into the Leadership Academy. And I told every single customer I met with that I wanted to earn a scholarship for school and I wanted to develop my leadership skills through this company. And I know for a fact that there were probably a couple customers who were between like a basic set and a medium set. And which one did they go with?
Medium.
Why?
Help you out.
Totally. And initially, they feel like they're doing it for me, right? But who's really winning?
They are.
Oh my God. Who do you think's happier? Someone that owns a couple knives or a set?
A set.
It's definitely a set.
Totally a set, right? A small set or a basic set? Basic or medium? Who's happier?
Medium.
Always. Who's happier? Medium or complete set?
Complete.
Always. So at first they're like, oh, they're doing it for you, but who's really the winner here?
Them. They are.
People that own the most Cutco are always the happiest customers. The more you sell them, the more they love Cutco. Just how it goes. Awesome. Vera, keep going.
Oh, reading. So, Mrs. Blank, do you mind if I share some of my goals? Oh, we said that. I'm in a huge contest for my first 10 days. It's called the Fast Starter Contest.
Mm-hmm.
Through Cutco, I earn a President's Club letter, which will look great on my resume. I also have a chance to win an All-American scholarship to help with school. Mrs. Blank, since I just started, I'm going to read from my manual. Is that okay?
So let me hit on a couple of these things. First of all, All-American Scholarship. Our company awards 100 scholarships annually, 50 in the summertime, 25 in the spring semester, 25 in the fall semester. They're based on performance. So the top 50 students in the country earn a scholarship for school. The President's Club letter, though, I got to tell you, this is huge. And I want you to know something. I'm going to read this to you just because of how powerful this is. Money can't buy this. You know, working in Northern Virginia, I work with a lot of very affluent students. Your mom and dad's connections can't get you this. This completely changes the game when you go into interviews. Check this out. It says, to whom it may concern. It's with great pleasure I submit to you my recommendation of Joseph Koss, who was associated with our company in a sales capacity during 2017. As a sales rep for Vector, Joseph has received extensive training in interpersonal communications, time management, and the importance of an individual's attitude regarding their accomplishments. In addition to attending our professional training seminar, he also attended sales conferences where he participated in extensive workshops with individuals in his peer group and managers of our corporate staff. I have received the highest personal recommendation from Joseph's division manager, Larry Manley. During his time with us, Joseph has won many sales awards. He has distinguished himself not only through sales performance, but as a potential leader through the involvement in the operation of our district office. As a result, he is amongst a special group of individuals honored by me as a member of our President's Club. This honor is reserved for our highest achievers. We are very proud of this accomplishment. Check this last paragraph out. Any individual within our organization that achieves this distinction certainly is a highly motivated and talented individual. Direct sales have long been recognized as a proving ground for successful people from all walks of life. It requires hard work, self-discipline, a willingness to accept challenge, and a high degree of personal responsibility. Joseph is such an individual, and that is why I feel comfortable in passing along my personal recommendation to you. In closing, let me invite you to contact me personally at our corporate headquarters if you have any questions. Also, feel free to contact our local division manager, Larry Manley. Thank you for the opportunity to submit to you my feelings about this fine, young individual. Very truly yours, Albert T. DiLeonardo. Can you read his title at the bottom there for me, Vera? What's his job title at the very bottom?
Oh, CEO, Vector Sales.
That is a hand-signed letter of recommendation from the president and CEO of a $250 million company voted by the Wall Street Journal as the #1 stepping stone job in America for college students. Here's what happens. When you have a resume with Cutco, a President's Club letter, a recommendation from a division manager, and you go into job interviews, you don't go into interviews. What you're really doing when you graduate from college is you are interviewing companies to figure out who you want to work for, because everyone wants to work with you. Right?
Do you have a choice?
That's it. I mean, if a student is graduating and they have options, how many options do they have?
2.
Maybe? Maybe? I mean, I have a buddy named Justin Ford. Justin graduated from UNC Chapel Hill with a chemistry degree, and he had people that graduated with him from Carolina, chemistry majors, who were struggling to find any job they could, just they weren't waiting tables when they graduated from Carolina.
Carolina's a good school.
A great school. Great school.
Yeah.
That'd be like graduating from a UVA.
Mhm.
And like just trying to get anything you could so that you weren't waiting tables. That's commonplace. That kind of thing separates our students. So you have an opportunity to earn a President's Club letter, an All-American scholarship, and the one thing I do want to hit on really quickly is the Fast Start contest, okay? So I'm not going to go over all the details, but here is what I'm going to tell you, okay? This is a 10-day contest. It starts tomorrow when you leave training, okay? And it's your first 10 days on the job. That being said, in your first 10 days on the job, I'm going to give each and every single one of you the chance to win over $2,000 in cash and prizes on top of all the income and the commission that you make through doing demos and making sales. Okay? Like, without question, this is the most badass contest you've ever been a part of. I'm going to go over all the details tomorrow. When I do, make sure you are holding on to your chair. If you're not, you're going to fall out. Bring socks, okay? An extra pair. Because the ones that you're wearing, I'm going to knock them off when I tell you about the Fast Start contest. All right. In all seriousness, if you're not excited about the Fast Start contest, I might need to come over there and check you for a pulse and make sure that you're still alive. And everyone has different levels, and like I said, a lot of our top people sell $10,000-$20,000 for their first 10 days on the job. And that's just writing up 1 to 3 orders a day. So, I mean, I have people that do that part-time around high school. So, and we're going to figure out what your goals are more individually throughout the next day or two here, and we'll help create a plan that's individualized for that. Cool? So, go ahead and do the transition there for us, Vera.
Like I said on my phone, you don't have to get anything. But if you see something you like, you can get it today. Not only would you be getting a great product, you would be also helping me out too. Cutco is awesome. You can buy sets or pieces, and we have tons of accessories and gifts. We also have interest-free monthly investment options, so you don't have to pay for it all at once. Just so I know, do you cook because you have to, listen to, or love to?
Mm-hmm.
Great. You're going to love Cutco.
Now, that last question. Ms. Jones, you cook because you have to, like to, or love to. Why are we asking that question? Well, to be able to tailor the presentation, right? Because even if they hate to cook, what do they still have to do?
They have to.
They still have to do it. How many times a week does the average American cook, do you think?
4.
2 to 3. 2 to 3 is average. So if you have a customer who's like, Brian, we hate to cook. Kitchen stuff, we hate to cook. Are they going to get a medium set or a basic set?
Basic.
Probably basic set. Guys, this set here, right here, is called our homemaker. That's our basic set. There's 7 knives in it. Okay, there's 2 forks and a spreader. That'll get people by if they cook like here and there and they don't really like to do it. Now, if people like to cook, are they going to get a basic set? Probably not. What are they going to get?
Medium.
Either medium or a complete set. If they love to cook, what are they getting?
Large.
Always. So what that question allows you to do is to start to try to tailor your presentation. Either way, they're going to get a set. Everyone gets something. That allows you to tailor what and why. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, let's go ahead and turn to the next page. All right. Christian, why don't you pick up right there?
Before we begin, we're going to need your favorite serrated edge knife, straight edge knife, and steak knife. We'll also need a shiny penny as well as food to cut up and snack on. Today I'll tell you why Cutco is the top selling American made brand in the US. Then we'll take a look at our product line and then review prices and specials at the end. I only work through referrals, so I hope you like me and Cutco enough to tell some friends about me.
Cool. Keep going.
Let me tell you a little bit about the company. Since 1949, all Cutco knives have been made in the United States in our factory in Olean, New York. We sell over $200 million worth of Cutco annually and have over 16 million customers. You may have seen us on TV on shows like Modern Marvels and Made in America. One of the only products you can buy once, use every day, and never have to replace. Cutco is proud producer of K-bar knives used by both military and law enforcement agencies.
Yep. So all of our U.S. Army, U.S. Marines, all carry Cutco.
Cutco is involved with many local and national charities.
So the two charities, by the way, that we've chosen to work with for this year, nationally, are the Make-A-Wish Foundation and Feeding America. Both incredible organizations that we're really proud to partner with.
What do you say the second one?
Feeding America. So, this is a question that any of you can answer. Why do we say things like we sell $250 million a year? We have 17 million customers. People buying more Cutco now than they ever have before. You may have seen Cutco featured on television programs. The U.S. Military uses Cutco. Why are we saying things like that?
Building up the reputation.
Reputation, credibility. They know they're not making these knives in your basement, right? We've been doing this for 70 years. So guys, there are 7 steps to selling sets. Okay, 7 steps to selling sets. Step number 1 is what we talked about on page 1, which is building rapport and tying customers into goals. Step number 2 is to create credibility. Keep going, brother.
To start off, I'd like to show you 2 products that demonstrate the quality of Cutco. Super shears. Everyone loves our shears. Cut penny, take apart, put together, hand shears to custom. The high carbon stainless steel makes them good for everything in the kitchen as well as indoor and outdoor projects. They are dishwasher safe and come apart for easy cleaning. Veggie peeler. Gotta try out this peeler. Let the customer peel, carrot, cucumber, potato. It peels in both directions. All of our gadgets and accessories are guaranteed forever and dishwasher safe. A lot of customers end up getting one of these 2 items for free. I'll show you how we did it. Let me show you where we got the idea from.
All right. So I just got to show you this real quick. Do you guys have like any coins with you? Penny? It can even be a quarter. You guys got change? What do you got? You guys hook me up?
This is why we're here. We have no coins.
True. So this is a demonstration that people get a kick out of. World's cheapest wine corkscrew, Miss Jones, only cost you 1 cent. The shears aren't pointed, so they're safe for kids. The blades aren't sharp to the touch. They use teeth for gripping to create friction to cut through things. Go apart at 90 degrees. Completely dishwasher safe. Any lefties in the room? How is using normal scissors for you?
Big challenge.
It sucks, doesn't it? With Cutco, they're made for righties and lefties. They're completely universal. People love that. Our veggie peeler is unbelievable. Okay, like using the veggie peeler is quite literally like an experience. Okay, people freak out when they use the veggie peeler. You're gonna get a chance to use that tomorrow. It's unbelievable. Our Cutco steak knives are also incredible. Hey, did you guys get a chance to use these in the interview? Maybe. Here, go ahead and take that. Just cut back and forth with that leather.
That's
Is that
it.
crazy or what? Okay, so you can pass that around, let people check that out. So the steak knives are unbelievable. Let me ask you a question. Why do we show things like the super shears and the veggie peeler at the very beginning of the presentation? How much pressure did you just put on that?
I actually put a lot of pressure on.
Yeah, here, check it out. Keep going. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, so we show things like the super shears and the veggie peeler at the very beginning because, first of all, it's a wow factor. When they see you cut through that penny, what goes through their head?
I want it.
Whoa, I want those.
I want to show other people when they come over, like, such a great
Guaranteed sale.
conversation- It's such a great conversation starter. It's
Right.
Like, hey guys, look, I can cut a penny.
Isn't that cool?
Nobody comes over.
So this is a wow factor. It's a guaranteed sale. Let's think about it like this. Out of 100 homes in America, how many of them have a pair of scissors in them?
all of them.
All of them do, right? Out of 100 homes in America, how many of them have kitchen accessories like veggie peelers and ice cream scoops in them?
All of them.
Dude, our Cutco ice cream scoop, do any of your families own that
No.
or use it? Oh my God, we're gonna sell so much Cutco this weekend. Okay, when you put an ice cream scoop on the countertop, first of all, it doesn't even touch the counter. So you don't get any sticky ice cream blobs. Moms love that. And you can put a piece of ice in it and it'll melt in a few seconds. It's not black magic, Miss Jones, it's Cutco, okay? So whether it's a veggie peeler, an ice cream scoop, our cheese knife, oh my God. You guys know what that is? This knife right here.
You need a knife with cheese?
Oh my gosh, this knife right here. This is Jesus' favorite knife because it's holy. Okay.
Oh, come on. That was a good
That was good. Thanks. Thank you. This as soon as someone cuts with this knife, potato, cheese, anything like that, it's sold. These are guaranteed sales. Here's what I'm going to tell you. There really should never be a demo that you don't at least sell something, right? Even if it's just an ice cream scoop or a veggie peeler. Even if it's like a set of the steak knives or a pair of super shears, right? Like, I cannot tell you how many times I did a demo, and maybe that was all I sold on that demo, but that was the reason I sold almost every single presentation. There were times where I sold 3 and 4 and 10 and 5, and the biggest order in our office, $10,000+ on one sale. There were times I sold $50, right? But the reason that we sell on almost every single when you go out this weekend, you are literally going to make a sale on probably, like if you go out and sell on every single demo you do this weekend, don't be surprised. That's very common. If you go out your first week or two or month or two and you literally sell on every presentation, that's very normal. The office record is like 92 sales in a row. That was a full summer. Ted Lather, it was 3.5 months, Justin, give or take, before he had a no sale. Now, some of those sales were ice cream scoops and veggie peelers, right? Some of them were medium complete sets. Some of them were people decking out their whole kitchen. Some of them were people decking out their whole kitchen at their home and their whole kitchen at their vacation home, right? But you're going to make a sale on almost every single demo that you do because of those types of products. So, cool. Any questions on page 2? Great. Let's go page 3. Let's see. David, why don't you go and start right there on top of page 3?
Disadvantages of common knives. Most people have the world's expensive set of knives. The average knife is designed to last 2 years, so most households waste a ton of money replacing cheap knives over and over.
Yep.
Let me show you this on paper. You probably know it. You probably know this better than I do, but cheap knives have a lot of problems. They also cost a lot of money over time. Average junk knife equals $10. Average of 8 knives in a set equals 80 per set. Replace every 2 years for 40 years. It's 20 replacements, which equals $1,600 on junk knives. They are unsanitary, unsafe, and unenjoyable.
So here's what I want you to know off the bat. Is the question, can people afford Cutco? No, because everyone you're going to sit down with can afford something, right? I mean, we have stuff that costs $30 and $40. Does that make sense? You are literally never going to do a demo with someone that can't afford something, okay? So is the question, can they afford Cutco? No. The question is, can they afford to not own Cutco? Here's what I want you to know. Your demo in 30 seconds is this. The average American is going to replace their set of knives throughout their lifetime, their set of knives 3 times, their set of cookware twice, their set of flatware, right, forks and spoons and stuff, at least once. They're going to buy little gadgets and accessories for the kitchen every couple months. Buying things for the kitchen is a recurring expense for every family in America, yes or no? The answer is yes. So the question is not, can they afford it? Everyone can afford it. The question is, can they afford to not own Cutco? Think about it like this. If I have a toothbrush, eventually the bristles are going to go bad, and what am I going to have to do?
Replace it.
When I have kitchen knives, eventually what's going to happen? And what am I going to have to do?
Replace it.
The question is not, are people going to spend money on stuff for their kitchen? The question is, what are they going to spend it on? When are they going to spend it? How often are they going to spend it? They're going to spend it either way, right? Buying Cutco, what it does is it completely eliminates a reoccurring expense for their kitchen for the rest of their life and their kids' lives. People have to buy, I mean, the bottom line is you got to get it. You got to buy stuff in the kitchen. So this page is really critical. Now, David, why don't you keep going there for us?
There are 2 types of handles. Wood handles are attractive when new, but they are extremely unsanitary. They absorb liquids, bacteria, grease, and germs, and contain odors.
Okay, now here's what I want you to know about, and I'm not gonna here's the deal, I'm not a germaphobe. I grew up with wooden handle knives. That's what my mom had growing up. I didn't know anything different. Knowing what I know now, here's the thing, guys. You will never see me touch the handle of a wooden handle knife. They are absolutely disgusting. They are a festering playground of bacteria. Wood is very porous and absorbent. Anything it comes into contact with, it soaks it into the handle of the knife. So whether it's blood from chicken and meats, odor, bacteria, grease, hand sweat. Here's what I want you to know about wooden handle knives. They have been outlawed in the preparation of commercial kitchens in 38 states because there are so many traces of food poisoning back to the preparation of food in the kitchen with wooden handle cutlery. They are so gross, okay? And what face do you see I have on right now?
Gross.
And as I'm making this face, what face do you think I saw on every single one of your faces at some point in time during the last couple sentences?
Reciprocated.
Okay. So let me teach you about something about communication. A lot of what I'm going to teach you is going to help you sell a ton of Cutco. Cool thing about selling a ton of Cutco is this helps you be a more effective communicator in every area of your life. So let me teach you a rule of communication. You don't have to take notes on this, but you can if you want. There's something called the 55-38-7 rule of communication. 55-38-7. 55% of your communication is what?
Nonverbal.
Bingo, Vera. Meaning what?
That they look at you and then what they see is what they said to reciprocate.
So let me ask you this. What if I'm just reading out of my manual and I don't have any body language or facial expressions that I'm using at all?
They're bored.
They're bored. Am I communicating my ideas very effectively to the customer?
No.
55% of communication is nonverbal. It's your facial expressions. It's your body language. You see where it says gross face in your manual? Circle that, man. And here's what I'll tell you. I call this the puke face. When I was a sales rep and I was doing a demo, I had this face on the entire time I was on page 3. Like literally the whole time. Okay? You want to really exaggerate that. Okay? So first is your facial expressions, your body language. 38% of your communication is what, do you think? It is verbal. What specifically though, Christian?
Your tone of voice.
Your tonality, your emphasis. For instance, I can say, Ms. Jones, wooden handles are really unsanitary. They absorb grease, odor, bacteria, and retain germs. Or I could say, Ms. Jones, wooden handles are extremely unsanitary. They absorb grease, odor, bacteria. They retain things like germs. Which one of those is going to make a customer want to take action?
The second one, because they like see your emotions and they feel them, and
Yes.
they don't want to have to deal with any of that.
Yes. Vera, by the end of this page, what should the customer be thinking in their head?
I want Cutco.
I need new knives. That's exactly right. Okay? So 38% of your communication is your tonality, is your emphasis, which means only 7% is what?
What you say.
So the words in your manual are perfect. Just follow the manual. Use some of the fire sauce that I'm teaching you. But 93% is how you deliver that information. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So facial expressions, tonality. Here's what I'm going to tell you about this page. The page that we're talking about right now is one of, if not, the most important page in the presentation. Why do you think that is, training class?
Because it's turning them away from other knives.
You got it, David. This is what's making them think, I need new stuff. Okay, this is called identifying a problem. This is creating a need for Cutco. See, no matter how awesome the knives are, if they don't feel like they need them, are they going to buy them?
No.
Nope. That's why this is one of, if not, the most important page. Here's what I'll tell you about this page. You nail this page, you know what? You're going to sell something on every demo that you do. I can't necessarily tell you how much or what, but I can tell you this. If you nail this page, you're going to sell something on every demo. This page is critical. David, keep going.
Sorry. In several states, restaurants don't use wooden handles for sanitation. Plastic handles are usually cheaply constructed to melt, chip, crack, and break. They're slippery when wet, which is extremely dangerous while you're cutting.
Okay, now here's what I'm going to tell you guys. As disgusting as wooden handles are, there is nothing worse than a plastic handle knife. You know why?
Unsafe.
The manufacturing process is so poor, they are so unsafe to use. They're normally glued together. Glue. Glue. When you put glue into a dishwasher with high heat, what happens?
No.
Loses its properties. Can you see that happening though? No. So you're using a knife one day, what happens?
It breaks.
Yep. Plus, they're made out of plastic, which is very slippery when it's wet. What do you do before you cook a meal?
Wash your hands.
What do you do before you eat a meal?
Wash your hands.
Yeah. And you ever heard of a slip and slide before? Miss Jones, what is a slip and slide made out of?
Water and plastic.
Water and plastic. And a
And
kid will
soap.
slide like 100 feet. The problem is in the kitchen, it's not a slip and slide, it's a slip and slice. Plastic handle knives are without question the most unsafe tools to use, the most low quality tools to use. I mean, guys, can you imagine walking into some of these people's kitchens, right? And they have this beautiful home and this beautiful kitchen and plastic handle knives? It doesn't even make sense. Okay, so plastic handles are awful. Those are the worst products in people's kitchens, without question. Okay. I think we keep going.
Common knives are constructed very poorly. Most knives have a partial tang with less steel, making them weak and unbalanced. So they break easily. Most rivets are made of brass, which expands, contracts, and loosens, creating unsanitary gaps.
Yeah. Okay, so look at your manual. Turn to the page in, open your blue books and turn to the page where it has the picture of the jump knives. I think it's like page 3 in your blue books. You're going to see this picture, right? First of all, whose kitchen drawer does this look like? Every damn customer that you're ever going to go see, okay? Like, this is exactly what my mom's kitchen drawer looked like when I first... It's almost like you, like, snuck in and took a picture of their drawer at night while they were sleeping and put it in your blue book. Okay. If you look at this knife right here, right? You see how, there's, dark spots around it and, green growing around? You know what that is?
Bacteria.
That's bacteria buildup. That is disgusting, okay? And a partial tang... If you look closely at the bottom here, you see how at the very bottom picture of that knife, you can see that the steel only comes about halfway through the handle. Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you put the pressure on a knife? The front or the back of the blade?
back?
I don't know.
Actually, the front. Think about when you're cutting, right? You're not using the very back, you're using the very front. So you're putting pressure on the front. There's nothing holding on the back of this blade. Only the very front. So when you're putting pressure on this part of the knife,
Let's pop out.
it's going to pop out and break. Still unsafe. Now, why do manufacturers manufacture knives like that? Cheaper. And what do you end up having to do?
Replace it.
That's called planned obsolescence. You know who invented the light bulb? Edison. You know that light bulb is still lit today in the Smithsonian Museum?
Really?
What are light bulbs now designed to do?
Replace.
Why?
Because the company needs money.
That's how everything, especially products for the kitchen, are designed.
So how does Cutco stay in business then?
That's a great question. We're going to see that on the next couple pages. Okay, now, if you look at the construction, one of the, like, even after you explain rivets and tang to customers, they have no earthly idea what you're talking about. Right, so I like to give them a physical example, and here's what I do. I do what I call the pen test. This is some Fairfax Fire special sauce you can write to your manual. When you're talking about the construction, I always used to use this example. I say, Miss Jones, let's pretend this is the steel of a knife. Let's pretend my hand is the handle. A lot of partial tangs will only go halfway into the handle. Now, Miss Jones, press down on that. And press up on it. Move it all around. Okay, it's not super stable. Now, it goes all the way back. That's a full tang. Does that feel a little bit different?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the difference between a partial and a full tang. So the pen test is something that's tangible. Because when you press down on that, press up on it, you can feel that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now do it. Does that feel different?
Yeah.
So it's tangible. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the pen test is good right there to kind of hammer that point home, and they can actually understand what the heck you're talking about. David, keep going.
There are two types of steel. Carbon steel is strong, but it rusts and corrodes, which is unattractive and unsanitary. Stainless steel looks good, but it's a soft metal, so it won't stay sharp, and it's difficult to sharpen. Have some of your knives gone dull over the years, Miss Jones?
Now, when you ask that question, are you asking like it's a question?
It's a statement.
It's more of a statement. It's like something you're nodding through. It's like, Miss Jones, this is when your knives gone dull. Yeah, right. Same thing as a disposable razor. After a couple uses, what happens?
Yeah, get rid of
And then what do you do?
it. Buy
Get a new one.
It's the same thing that most kitchen knives are made out of, by the way, is low quality stainless steel like that. Yeah.
Cheap razors are meant to cut you, and so are cheap knives.
Bingo. Okay. So stainless steel, you're going to see a lot of that. That's the majority of what people are going to have. You're not going to see a lot of carbon steel. It's just not very commonly used to manufacture kitchen knives anymore. But you will see a lot of stainless steel out there. Stainless steel is just really weak and malleable, and it just dulls really quickly. Keep going there, David.
There are two types of edges. Serrated edges rip and tear your food and cannot be resharpened. Straight edges make a smooth cut, but they have to be sharpened constantly to remain effective. A hard cutting surface dulls the knife, not the food. Both of these edges directly contact the cutting board, dulling them quickly. A dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp one because you have to push harder.
Yep. Now, hold on. A dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife?
Mm-hmm.
How's that?
Because when you push harder, it's easier for you to like lose grip of it. So you're like pushing, and then your hand goes forward with it.
The only time people cut themselves is when the force of them cutting overcomes the resistance of what they're trying to cut through. Think about it like this. Surgeons, do they use sharp or dull tools?
Sharp.
Really sharp. Why?
Easier to cut with.
More control, and it's a lot safer, right? It's the same exact thing in the kitchen. So, good. David, go and wrap it up right there.
This customer has one of these three high quality brands: Wusthof, Henkel's Shoe.
Wusthof, Henkel's Shoe. Remember those brands. We're going to talk about them more in detail here in a bit. Those sets range between $2,000 and $4,000 for a set. They're really good knives, okay? If you walk into a customer's house and they have something like Henkel's, Wusthof, or Shun, what's about to happen on that demo?
They're gonna challenge
They're going to be like, oh, well, I have Henkel's. Now, first of all, do you want to bash their knives?
No.
Build them up. And here's what's going to happen. I went out when I was a sales rep and I saw people who owned Henkel's or Wusthof, and they had owned it for like, 7 or 10 years, and it still looked really good and was pretty sharp. I also went out and saw people that owned Henckels and Wusthof that owned it for like 2 or 3 years, and it looked like shit and was really dull. What's the difference? How well they take care of it and how often they use it. That's right. Regardless, though, even something like Henckels or Wusthof, 10 years, 15 years down the road, what are you going to have to do?
Replace it.
You're going to have to replace the knives eventually, period. Okay, that is the biggest difference between Cutco and anything else that's on the market. When you see people that own Henckels and Wusthof and Shun, you are always going to make a sale. Here's why. Those customers went to the store and spent somewhere between $1,000 and $4,000 on a set of knives without someone sitting down for 30 minutes to tell them why they should. What does that tell you about that customer?
So that they're easy to tell.
They're easy to tell to. They appreciate quality and they value cutlery.
Are any of the other brands guaranteed for life or not?
Not a single one. By the way, I just want to toss this out there to you. We do see a lot of customers who own these types of products. Always call from those demos because we have an upgrade program, kind of like trading in a car, where they've had like a set of Henckels or Wusthof for 5 or 10 years. They got it for their wedding. That's very common. Someone gives them a nice set of knives for their wedding. They got married 10, 15 years ago. And what we can do is move them into a set of Cutco, kind of like you would upgrade a vehicle. And we can give them a discount based on the set of knives they have. So always call when you're working with those customers. We'll hook you up. Any questions on page 3? Again, what's the idea here? What are we doing on page 3? Why is this important?
Make them think Cutco's superior to everything.
Got to create a need for the product before they see how awesome Cutco is. Any questions on that? All right, cool. Turn to the next page. Vera asked a great question. Vera said, well, Brian, how does Cutco stay in business then? Well, I'm about to show you why and how. And it's with this next section. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the next little section of the presentation for you like I would with a customer on a demo, okay? Now, you don't need to take notes on what I'm about to do. You have the lyrics in your manual. I want you to watch the music. Does that make sense? So don't worry about writing anything down or taking down the special sauce that I'm about to use because I'm going to give it all to you. But watch the music, okay? Miss Vera, I'm going to have you and David, you guys are going to be my Mr. and my Mrs. Jones, okay? All right. So I would say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, let me show you how Cutco has solved all these problems. Are y'all ready to see Cutco? Are you sure? Okay. Normally Cutco will be in a sheath, so I would take it out. Say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, there are 5 features. 5 features that make Cutco the Rolls Royce of kitchen cutlery. Now, pause. What did I just do? Why? What did I just tell you about this knife?
That it's amazing.
That it's very high quality. What else?
That they should care for it as much as you do, and that they should pay attention to everything you do.
Why am I haven't even said anything really about the knife. How do they know that?
The 55%.
It's the way I'm handling it. I'm polishing it, right? I'm presenting it like it's a newborn baby being handed to its mother for the first time. You want to treat this knife like it's a 5-carat diamond. Polish it, present it. Because when you're doing that, without saying one word, what are you telling them about the price of this knife?
It's high.
It's very expensive. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to polish it, present it. I'm going to hand it to the customer. Now, Mr. David, how does that knife feel in your hand?
Amazing.
That's pretty incredible, isn't it? It just feels expensive, doesn't it?
Right.
Now, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, that feature is called our universal wedge lock handle. Now, this feature was designed by an industrial designer, Thomas Lamb. He studied 700 pairs of hands to come up with this handle design. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, do you know how much research and design, research and development like that costs? Let me give you an idea. In the 1950s, our company spent $1.4 million just developing the shape of the knife handle. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, with inflation today, that's equivalent to a $15 million investment just on developing the shape of the handle. This is such an expensive, unique design, but it's worth it because it's the only knife handle like this in the entire world. Thomas Lamb is also the man that's responsible for designing the seats for Porsche, polio crutches for children. So this is a very expensive design. The design fits in any size hand, right, left, big, or small. And your thumb and your forefinger naturally lock into place underneath the blade on the handle here for better control and safety. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, in these two fingers, you have 90% of your hand strength. So not only is it a lot more comfortable because it fits in the natural curves of your palm, it's also a lot safer to use. This is the only knife handle in the world to ever be endorsed by the American Arthritis Association for people with carpal tunnel and rheumatoid arthritis because of how safe and how comfortable it is to use. In fact, this is really cool. This is such an expensive design. At one point in time, it was featured in the Museum of Modern Art. They had an exhibit on ergonomics and how things fit the human body. And this was in that exhibit. Pretty incredible, isn't it? Now, do you guys have any ideas what that handle material is made out of?
Carbon fiber.
I hear that sometimes it's not carbon fiber. Miss Jones, you got any ideas?
It's not wood.
It's not wood, I'll tell you that. That's for darn sure. It's actually called thermoresin. Okay, and I could tell that was on the tip of your tongue. That was your next guess. I could tell. Thermoresin is an extremely expensive material. It is similar to the material pro football helmets and bowling balls are made out of. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, this is an extremely expensive material, but it's not going to chip. It's not going to crack. It will not break. It will not fade. It will not stain or absorb any moisture bacteria, making it 100% sanitary. So it's a lot more expensive. One of my mom's favorite parts, though, it's completely dishwasher safe. In fact, thermoresin has a melting point of 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So just don't bake it in your oven, and you should be okay. It's incredible. Now let me pause. What are some things that you notice about how I'm doing this section of the presentation?
There's a lot of accomplishments that you're showing.
So I'm highlighting the features of Cutco. Great. What else?
The way you're holding your knife is like with great care and like showing how well it fits.
Yeah, great. What else?
Adding some background stories and about the product.
Yeah, I'm really like creating some desire based on things like our R&D and the research and design that's gone into the manufacturing process. Great. What else?
You're basically creating chemistry between the customer and the knife,
Yes.
and they want it.
Yes, this is creating desire
And
for
like
Cutco.
never in the presentation did you say like you should buy this, you should have this. It just comes to their mind with everything you're saying.
Absolutely. What is a word that you heard me repeat?
Expensive.
Bingo. Why am I doing that?
Because then when they see the cost of it, they understand the price of the knives.
There you go. So if this is the price for a set of Cutco, somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 for a set, if this is the price, where do we want the customer's expectation for the price to be?
10,000.
Way up here. Yeah, if it's $1,000 to $3,000, we want them to think that the set costs $10,000. So when you go, oh no, it's only $1,000, it's only $2,000, it's only $3,000. What's their reaction?
Oh, I want it. It's fine.
Oh, cool. Wow. That's awesome. Plus, by the way, guys, just so you know, even with something like our biggest set, right? Our complete set's like $2,900. You realize they can put that on a 5-pay, right? How much is that per month? Over 5 months?
Like $600.
$600. What is that per week?
Like
150.
200.
Like 150, $200. That's nothing to a family. 150, $200. $100 a month. That's a trip to Costco. That's 2 trips to the grocery store. That's nothing to a family, right? So you want to really build that price expectation. And every time they hear the word expensive, what happens to their price expectation? Sometimes you want to repeat the word expensive as much as you freaking can.
Are there
Okay.
synonyms we can use for that word?
Extremely high quality, right? Things like that. What are other words that are synonymous with expensive?
Luxury.
Oh yeah.
That's what I think of.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I personally don't like the word expensive. Like,
See, and here's the one thing I'm doing is I'm also using examples of things that are expensive.
yeah.
For instance, when I was talking about who designed our wedge lock handle,
The Porsche came up and
what I said, Mr. Jones, there are 5 features to make Cutco the.
Rolls Royce.
What did I use that?
the
You guys ever seen that meme?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how much does a Rolls Royce cost? Couple $100,000? 3, 2, 3, 400 grand. So when they hear they're automatically thinking hand craftsmanship, high quality, expensive. So at the top of your manual on page 4, I want you to write 2 things. 2 words I want you to write at the top of page 4. First thing I want you to write, number 1, is enthusiasm. So here's the biggest thing I want you to get out of how I'm doing this section of the presentation. Training class, can you tell that I believe in Cutco?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to say those words?
No.
You can what?
See
You
it.
can see it.
You can see it,
You can hear
and
it.
you can feel it, and you can hear it.
You absorb us into your world of like Cutco is the only thing that matters.
And that is what you want to do on demos. Okay? Because here's what I want you to know. Again, people don't buy Cutco. What do they buy?
You.
Your belief, your conviction. They don't buy the knives. They buy the fact that you really genuinely believe that they should. Here's the biggest thing I want you to know about page 4. People can feel what you believe a whole hell of a lot more than they believe what you say. Does that make sense? Now, let me tell you something. I love Cutco. I really do. I've worked here for 10 years. I love this product. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons I've worked here for over a decade. Because the product is incredible. I mean, one of the reasons I've worked here for 10 years, guys, is because for me to go sell anything else, I really feel like I would have to leverage my integrity. Because I would have to try to convince someone that my product is better. With Cutco, there's no convincing. This is the best product of its kind. No question at all. Best quality, best manufacturing process, best guarantee. That's one of the reasons I've been here for 10 years. And I can feel really, really good about what I'm doing. It's also pretty cool to think about the fact that 10 years later, when I was a 17-year-old, recent high school graduate, that I could call any one of the customers that I sat down with and be like, hey, I'm going to say my name. I want to see if you can remember me. Brian Hurlman. And what do you think they would say?
Cutco.
Oh my God, you sold us our Cutco. We love these knives. You got to realize I'm from a small town, really small. Like the population of my town is 2,000. Some of you probably went to high schools that were that big. And let me tell you, where I'm from in Pittsburgh, North Carolina, people don't own the best of things. My parents do not live in the best house. They don't drive the nicest cars, but you know what? They own the best damn set of knives on the face of the planet. And that might sound lame or cheesy to you, but one thing that I really took pride in was that I was giving people that I knew the chance to own the best of something. Even if it was their kitchen knives. It's really cool. So the number one thing is enthusiasm. So here's the deal, guys. There are 5 features of Cutco. How many?
5.
It is your job to go through each feature one at a time and to sell that one feature with all of the enthusiasm that you can possibly muster. That's number 1. The second thing I want you to write at the top of the manual is expensive. How many times did you, I don't know if any of you probably weren't counting, but how many times did I say the word expensive?
7.
I mean, I probably said it almost 10 times. And did it seem forced or out of context? No, not at all, right? So the more you can repeat that word, the better, because that increases that price expectation. And then when you can use things that are synonymous with expensive and analogies and examples, that builds that price expectation up as well. Does that make sense? Cool. Let's go ahead and dig into this part. Who has not gone yet? Awesome. Let's take a pick on the top of page 4.
All right. There are 5 features that make Cutco the world's finest set of cutlery. Polish and present petite carver, black handle. How does that feel in your hand? Number 1, the first feature is our universal wedge lock handle, which fits any size hand. Universal design locks your hand into place, increasing control and safety while reducing fatigue. This makes Cutco more expensive, but it's worth it because it's comfortable and safe.
So let me pause on this. So again, let me give you some fire sauce. Instead of saying, hey, there are 5 features that make Cutco the world's finest set of cutlery, what's something that you can interchange there? This shows there are 5 features that make Cutco the
Best.
Rolls Royce of kitchen cutlery. Ms. Jones, how does the handle feel in your hand? She's like, oh, it's really comfortable. You're like, I know. It just feels expensive, doesn't it? That's called our universal wedge lock handle. When I was doing this page, was I speeding through this?
No.
No. Pages 3 and 4, you want to take your time. Take your time on pages 3 and 4. Everything else is pretty quick. Okay? Take your time on those pages. Go slowly. Enunciate. You want them to hang on your words. Really use your emphasis in your tonality. Just so you know, some fire sauce. Our wedge lock handle was designed by Thomas Lamb. Thomas Lamb, like the animal, Lamb. And he studied 700 pairs of hands to design that knife handle. 700. A question I always used to ask is I go, Miss Jones, do you know how expensive research and design like that is? They're like, not really. Like, Miss Jones, let me give you an idea of just how expensive it is. In the 1950s, and keep in mind, how much was a candy bar in the 1950s? Like a nickel? In the 1950s, our company spent $1.4 million designing the shape of the handle. Ms. Jones, with inflation today, that is equivalent. With inflation today, that is equivalent to $15 million that we spent just in the research and development of one part of our product, one feature of our product. By the way, Ms. Jones, just so you know, Thomas Lamb is also responsible for designing the seats for Porsche, polio crutches for children. So this makes Cutco way more expensive, but it's worth it because it's a feature that's unique to Cutco. It fits any size hand, right, left, big or small. Just so y'all know, and this is something I used to share with Ms. Jones. Ms. Jones, you have 90% of your hand strength between your index and your thumb. So the ergonomic design fits to the natural curves of the palm, so it's more comfortable, but it's also a lot safer to use. Another fun fact, just some fire sauce. If you'd like to share this with the customer, you can. This is the only knife handle in the world to be endorsed by the American Arthritis Association. Safe and comfortable to use. And it's such a unique, expensive design. At one point in time, it was featured in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City in an exhibit on human ergonomics. The American Arthritis Association. Our knife handle was featured in the Museum of Modern Art. That is unbelievable. That is why Cutco costs what it does. That is why people love this product. That's why our average customer, and one of the reasons that we've sold so much Cutco, will continue to sell so much Cutco, orders Cutco 1.7 times on average. On average. How many companies and products do you think can boast that? We also have a forever guarantee. Think about that. The product is guaranteed forever, and our average customer orders Cutco 1.7 times.
So they get it for friends, or
They get it for friends. They get it for family. They upgrade their sets. They buy one for a vacation home. And people are always moving in and out of the areas, and people are always being born and dying. So our market's so strong. And we're only really like scratching the surface of what we really could be doing. When you think about the fact that we're only in 20% of homes in America, and we've been doing this for 70 years, that market penetration is pretty exciting. Right. This is in North America. So, okay. The next feature is the thermo resin handle. One of the ways I like to transition between the first and second feature, this is just also some fire special sauce. One of the things I always used to like to do is I used to just ask Miss Jones, like, hey, Miss Jones, do you have any ideas what that's made out of? And they always guess, right? Fiberglass, carbon fiber, right? Sometimes they will say wood, believe it or not, even after you go off on how gross that is. Wood, no, Miss Jones, nope. It's called glass. You will hear that. Marble, is it marble? I've heard ivory, like I've heard crazy stuff. You're like, actually, no, Miss Jones, it's called thermo resin. And I could tell that was going to be your next guess. It was right there on the tip of your tongue. Thermo resin is similar to the material that pro football helmets and bowling balls are made out of. It won't chip, crack, break. It won't fade. It won't stain. It will not absorb moisture bacteria, meaning it's 100% sanitary. So it's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more of an expensive material, but it's worth it. Oh, by the way, Miss Jones, my mom's favorite part. Who did I just use in that example? Mom. See, here's the thing. You're paid to say good things about the product. Is my mom? No. So when I'm using an example of someone else's experience and how they feel about the product, what happens?
they see that you're like connected and like it works.
Yeah. Their enthusiasm grows. Their belief in the product grows, right? My mom's favorite part, Miss Jones, it's dishwasher safe. It has that, and by the way, if there's any other high quality cutlery, you know, a Henkel's, a Wusthof, a Shun, one of the things we'll talk about, can't put them in the dishwasher, which sucks. I mean, how many moms want to hand wash their kitchen cutlery after cooking a meal and doing all the other things that super moms do? This many. So 350 degrees Fahrenheit is the melting point. So as long as you don't bake it in your oven, you should be okay. Hi, what's your name? Hey, Maddie, I'm right here home. Nice to meet you. Did you get that from Francesca's, that necklace? Yeah. That's like what my fiance's like favorite place to shop. She loves it, and she has a lot of jewelry. It looks very similar. It's cute. Go ahead and pick up where we are right now, and then we'll get some time on a break or after training to catch up. Cool. Okay, so that's the wedge lock handle. Thermal resin design. Next feature is what?
Full tank construction.
Full tank construction. Okay. Let's see. Go ahead. You can go ahead. Go. Did you do that part yet?
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Oh, no, not this part.
Okay, go ahead and do that part. Do the next two features, and I'm going to hit on a couple things for those.
Okay. The third feature is our full tank construction. Using the extra steel is more expensive, but it's worth it because it creates strength and balance.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 nickel silver rivets are flush with the handle, making it strong and sanitary. The fourth feature is our very high grade steel. This steel is expensive to use, but it's worth it because it has the best of both worlds. It has high carbon for edge retention, and it's stainless for beauty, making it sanitary and sharp.
Mm-hmm. So let me hit on a couple things here. First of all, full tank construction is a lot more expensive to manufacture our product like that, but we do it because it's more safe and more durable. Now, nickel silver is a composite material that is extremely dense. It's kind of similar to the material that Boeing uses to make engines, okay? That NASA uses on the outside of parts of space shuttles. The reason that those companies use a product like a material like nickel silver is because it's very, very dense, which means it's not going to expand or contract with drastic changes in temperature. Here's what's cool about this. If you rub your finger over this rivet, it feels completely like one piece. It's completely flush. The cool part is the knife stays like that forever. It all feels like one piece. It's much more sanitary. It's more aesthetically pleasing, and it's a lot more durable. Now, yes, sir.
Sure. I feel like also this should be a good place to show the pen test if you haven't already.
Oh yeah, yep, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Now, the steel that we use a high carbon stainless steel. The grade is a 440A high carbon stainless. Just so y'all know, that's the same grade of metal that surgical equipment is made out of. So it is a very, very expensive material. Now, what's even more expensive than the material itself is the process by which we strengthen the steel. Are any of you familiar with a process called tempering? You guys ever heard of that? Tempering is referred to as hardening. So here's what we do. I used to share this with customers just because I thought it was so damn cool. Here's how we do this. We take the sheets of metal, we stamp out our blades, we send them through a furnace. For 2 hours, we heat the blades up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is unreal. For 2 hours, 2,000 degrees. Then they come right out of the oven and they go into a deep freezer for 8 hours at 120 degrees below zero. You know how cool that is? It's unreal. Like, they do a demonstration at the Cutco factory. So if you have a chance to get into our leadership academy, one of the concluding events to that is getting a chance to meet the owners and executives of our company and tour the manufacturing process at our company headquarters in New York. It's very fun. It's very cool. You get to see this process happen live. Okay, one of the things that they do to show how cold this freezer is they take a water bottle and spray it along the freezer. Instantly freezes. Doesn't even have a chance to drip. It's eerie. So 2 hours at 2,000 degrees, 8 hours at 120 degrees below. Then it comes out and it goes back into a oven at 365 for like an hour or so. And that's what allows us to put such a fine edge on all of the straight edge knives. So a knife like this, a straight edge knife, when it comes out of the factory, this edge measures, the cutting edge, measures at 1/10,000th of an inch thick. What that means, put that in perspective, you take 1 inch, divide it 10,000 times, and that is how thin these blades are when they come out of our factory. 0.0001 inch thick. Isn't that unbelievable? So to give you an idea of why the product costs what it does, how stringent the manufacturing process is. If you were to guess, how many steps do you think each knife goes through before leaving the factory?
5.
More.
15.
How many?
15.
More.
50.
More.
100.
Each individual tool goes through somewhere between 70 and 100 steps. This block, the wood block, you know how many steps the wood block goes through?
70.
38.
No, just kidding.
38 steps for the wood block. And by the way, a lot of those steps are done by hand. And that is why the product costs what it does. Not to mention, that's also why it lasts for 30, 40, 50 years. So does it cost us a lot more to manufacture the product like that? Oh yeah, but is it worth it? Absolutely. Okay. Go ahead and pick back up.
The fifth feature is our most famous. It's our exclusive Stay Sharp Double D edge.
Yes.
Let's compare how the different types of edges work. Take out the cutting board and rope. We cut rope because it's tough like vegetables and meats, but it will not hurt your knife's edge. And remember, Cutco is sharp, so be careful. Hold rope with both hands. Start with the back of the blade. Pull one long stroke, then go back and forth. 1, customer serrated edge. 2, customer straight edge. 3, Cutco petite carver, black handle. Unlike, okay.
So let me just pause real quick. So one thing that you're going to see is that you're coaching the customer through cutting the rope. If you don't do that, here's how they're going to cut the rope. With these tiny little strokes. And it's not going to go through in one stroke. So you have to coach them through the rope cutting. Start at the very back of the blade. And Ms. Jones, I want you to press down as hard as you can and try to get through it in one full stroke if you can. If you don't, that's okay. Just go back and forth and we'll count out loud how many strokes it took. You do that with their serrated edge. You do that with their straight edge. You do that with their Cutco. And you want to coach them through cutting the rope each time. Now, to give you an idea of expectations, a straighted edge knife is probably going to take, 5 strokes, 10 strokes maybe. But the rope is going to be all torn and tattered. And it's going to look really, really bad. And that's what it does to food. It rips and tears and it shreds. Not good. Then you're going to use the straight edge. And normally the straight edge will take like 10, maybe 20 strokes. It'll take longer, but it'll be a nice clean cut. Then they're going to use Cutco. And what's going to happen when they use Cutco?
One time.
It's going to be about a half a stroke. Whoosh. What do you think that customer's reaction is going to be?
Wow.
Wow. David, what do you think your reaction needs to be?
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like ecstatic.
It's like, I know, Mr. Jones. How cool is that? Can you imagine if this is how it went? Mr. Christian, go and use your Cutco. See if there's any difference at all. Whoosh. Pretty cool, huh? Great, let's do it again. Make sure it's not a one-hit wonder. Go ahead. Yep, works every time. Is that going to get a customer excited about buying the knives? Is that showing your belief and your conviction in the product? Realize that this rope cutting demonstration is a very, very important demonstration. Why?
Shows the strength of the product.
This is the first time they're actually using Cutco and comparing it to what they already have. Does that make sense? So when they cut through that rope, it's like, isn't that cool? Here, do it again. Make sure it's not a one-hit wonder. Do you see how clean that cut is? No, it's awesome. Do it again. Go ahead. Think about how much time and energy that's going to save you. In today's day and age, what do people want to save? Time and energy. Are they willing to spend money to do those things? Absolutely, they are. 100% they are. In fact, the most profitable businesses in the world are the ones that are saving people time and energy. Right? Half a stroke. I'll tell you this, I'll never forget my mom's reaction, right? I come home from the job, I'm all fired up. I'm like, Mom, she's like, what are you gonna be doing? I'm like, well, I'm gonna be a representative for a big marketing company. I'm like, oh, what are the products? It's a line of really high-end housewares and utensils for the kitchen and gift ideas and stuff. And she, Mom, you're gonna love these kitchen knives. I mean, you're gonna buy the whole set. Well, we're not gonna get anything. You can practice with us, but we're not gonna buy. I already have Pampered Chef. Okay, so I'm like, all right, Mom, I'm telling you, when you see these knives, you're gonna buy the whole set. Anyway, I sit down with my mom. So I start the demo. I'm like, all right, Mom, cut this rope, blah, blah. My dad's like, oh, no. I'm doing this. Takes the knife out of my mom's hand, her knives. He takes the knife, he's pressing down as hard as he can, and it's like 1, 2, 3 strokes. Now I'll tell you, for a knife that's not Cutco, 3 strokes is pretty good. I'm like, all right, Dad, here you go, try the Cutco. He goes, no. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, give it to your mother, let her use it. Right? So I give it to my mom. I'm like, Mom, press down hard, right? Use the full. She's like, I got it. In my head, I'm praying. Oh, please God, let this go through in one stroke like it did in training. Right? I'll never forget this. My mom took the knife. was about a half a stroke. She goes, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "Told you, Mom. I told you. How else more of those?" I'm like, "Here, do it again." I told you, Mom. They're awesome. My dad's like, "Give me that knife." Right? He just starts examining it, right, millimeter at a time. So it was really cool. Customers' reactions right there are really fun. That is where you can show your enthusiasm. That's where you can share your conviction. Remember, people don't buy the knives. They buy your belief, your conviction, right? Let me tell you how, you want to know how Webster defines a sale? A transfer of enthusiasm. That's how Webster defines a sale. You transfer your enthusiasm, your excitement, your belief for the product to who? What's the easiest way to do that? Enthusiasm, using the product. That's exactly right. Any questions on that? So the double D edge is what we're famous for. The double D edge stands for double durable. Why don't you go ahead and keep going there?
Unlike a serrated edge, Cutco's double D edge has 3 straight edges that smoothly cut forward, backward, and straight down. Show customer a picture of edge. The points protect the recessed edges from dulling on the cutting board, keeping each knife sharp for up to 10 years, and they can still be resharpened. While most of our knives have the double D edge for cutting back and forth, some Cutco knives have straight edges for chopping, dicing, and precision cutting. This unique edge uses expensive technology, but it's well worth it.
Yep. Now I want you to see, this is a serrated edge. You guys have seen knives like this, the ones that look like a saw and has the teeth. So when you're using a knife like this, what's doing the work are these points. And once the point's dull, can you resharpen that?
No.
What do you have to do? To throw it away and replace it. In comparison, here's what a double D edge looks like. And when I was a rep and I was doing demos for customers, people are very visual. So I always used to draw this for the customer. Because what you have to realize is when you're cutting with a knife like this, it's ripping, it's tearing, it's shredding to what you're trying to cut. Where is most of the flavor and nutrients located in fruits and meats and vegetables? In their skin and juices. And when you're ripping and tearing and shredding them apart, what happens? You're losing a lot of flavor and nutrients. Okay? So here's what Cutco looks like. You draw a V, and another V, and another V. And then what you do is you just connect the tops of them. Now, here's what's different about this knife. These points don't do any of the cutting. They protect interior recessed blades, which are located here, here, and here. It cuts forward, backward, straight down, surrounding what it's cutting. So this knife cuts just like a straight edge knife. It's pretty unbelievable. This is like incredible technology. Now, is that knife going to dull?
Yes.
Yes. Over time it will. If anyone ever says their knives don't dull, guess what?
They're lying.
They're lying. Metal's metal, it's going to dull. Here's the crazy thing about Cutco, though. This dulling process, because of the way we engineered and designed this blade, the dulling process is so gradual, people that own Cutco don't even notice it happening. You'll go talk to people, you'll go do demos with people who have owned the knives for a decade, and you know what they're going to tell you? Oh my gosh, Maddie, they're as sharp as the very first day we bought. Now, is that physically possible?
No.
No, but the process is so gradual, they don't even notice it happening until when?
You see the new ones?
Until they have them resharpened. And when they send them back to the factory, they have a rep come resharpen them at home, and then they use them, they're like, oh my gosh. It's like night and day. So, and again, how long will that double D edge stay sharp?
10 years.
Up to 10 years. So let me ask you a question. If you only buy one of them, is it going to stay sharp for up to 10 years?
No.
Probably not. Why?
Oh, you have to use that one
More use.
10 years with how much usage?
That's exactly. Right? If I buy one knife and I'm using it for everything, how long is it going to last?
Maybe just a couple of years. But like if you buy the basic set, then like how long do you expect the knives to last if you use them every day?
Good question. What do you think? How long do you think a set like this will stay sharp for with everyday use?
5 years.
Longer. At least. If not, 15 or more. Now, it depends on how much they use it, right? So what stays sharper? 2 or 3 or 4 knives or a basic set of Cutco? Totally. So what's better to sell your customer? 2, 3, 4 knives or a basic set of Cutco?
Basic
What
set.
happens if it's
Absolutely.
someone like my mom, and she's like, I only need 2 knives. I only know how to use 2 knives, so I want to have 2 knives.
So here's how you need to approach your demos. You are not a sales rep. You are a kitchen consultant.
Mhm.
As an analogy, if I hire someone to be an interior designer for my home, what are they going to do?
Design your house.
They're going to make suggestions based on what I tell them I do. So your mom saying, hey, I only use 2 knives, is that saying that 2 knives do everything I possibly need?
Mhm.
No, it's what she's really saying is, I only know how to use 2 knives. And I don't really know what these other ones are used for. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
As an example, how many pairs of shoes do you have at home?
Over 30.
Why so many pairs?
They're all for different things, different occasions.
Well, could you wear, like, as an example, could you wear a pair of heels to the gym?
Yeah.
You could.
You could. Does it make much sense?
No.
Do you want to get a calf workout?
Good calf workout, right? You could wear a pair of sneakers with like a nice evening gown or a cocktail dress.
If no one sees them,
No season makes more sense to wear what?
comfortable.
Right, but what does it make more sense to do?
To wear heels.
Same exact thing in the kitchen. As an example, I could go play a round of golf. And although I use a putter and a driver more than any other clubs in the bag, am I going to play an effective round of golf with only a driver and a putter?
No.
Could I get by?
Yeah.
I guess. Is it going to be very fun?
No.
Is it going to be very efficient?
No.
It's the same thing in the kitchen. So could she get by with 2 knives?
Mhm.
I guess. But does it make much sense?
No.
And that is your job to communicate that idea
Mhm.
to customers. Now, will you have customers who only buy 2 or 3 knives because they're stubborn?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But go about it as a consultant. Here's what I want you to know. By the end of training today, you are going to know more about kitchen knives than 99% of people on the planet. So go about it like an expert, right? If I say to an interior designer, no, I really like this and this together, and it doesn't mesh, what is she going to tell me?
Let's try something else.
She's going to go, Brian, I appreciate that. Can I give you some feedback? Can I give you some thoughts? Right? And she's going to make a suggestion that, based on her expertise, she knows is going to be a benefit for me in the long run.
Mhm.
Same thing on your demos. Make sense? Cool. Great question. So again, who's happier? People that own 2, 3, 4 knives or a basic set of Cutco?
Basic stuff.
Every time, 10 times out of 10.
I feel like there should be like a way to label the knives.
And there is actually. So there's item numbers, and one of the things we'll do is we'll do some role playing as you do demos. You're going to get better and more advanced product knowledge.
Mhm.
Basic set. Again, this is the set for mom, dad, 1 or 2 kids. They cook 1, maybe 2 nights a week. So that's a basic set. If anyone ever goes, oh, kitchen stuff, we don't really cook. What set do you sell then?
Basic.
Basic set. It'll get them by. There's 7 knives. There's 2 forks and a spreader. Okay. Now, if someone has like 2 or 3 kids, they cook 2, 3, 4 nights a week. What probably makes more sense, basic or medium?
Medium.
This is our medium set. Probably makes more sense. There's 10 knives in this one, and then there's 2 forks and a spreader. If someone loves to cook, do they get a basic, a medium, or a complete set?
Complete.
Hell yeah. Why?
Because they know how to use all of
Because
them.
they know how to use all of them. They have a lot more value associated with, like, as an example, I have a buddy, Ben Jackson, who is a fantastic golfer. Do you think his golf bag is worth more than mine?
Mhm.
Absolutely. Why? Because he's an expert. It's a hobby of his, right? And so when you go see people that, you know, are love to cook, they're always going to buy the complete set. Now, here's what's interesting about that. The interesting thing is this. 50% of people who buy the complete set, guess what? Never cook.
They just like it for aesthetic reasons.
Yep. It looks nice and it matches their kitchen.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because they can come into the kitchen and be like, oh, look, I have the complete set of Cutco.
Yep. That's exactly right. And they love it for that reason. It's a status symbol the same way as their Benz, their BMW, their granite countertops, their stainless steel appliances, right? Same exact concept. So it's funny because with the complete set, half the people that buy it don't really even use it that often. So on that note, here's what I will tell you. My fiance and I have a complete set of Cutco. I'm in my late 20s. I don't cook a ton. We probably cook 3, 4, sometimes 5 nights a week. Depends on how much we're both in town. She travels from work here and there. I travel for work here and there. We're in our mid-20s without kids, late 20s without kids. I cannot imagine owning anything other than a complete set. We don't have kids yet. To put it in perspective, like I have used every single tool in my complete set. I use all of them all the time, and the block is never full, ever. Something's always in the dishwasher. Always.
Does the complete set come with the accessories or no?
Hell yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yep, it sure does. Complete set comes with 12 table knives, super shears, virtually every tool you'll ever need in the kitchen, and then a bunch of cool free stuff. Yep, I'm gonna talk about that more in detail here in a second. Any questions on page 4? So speaking of page 4, what is the purpose of this page? There's 7 steps to selling sets. What are we doing on this page? Well, what did we do on the last page?
We identify
Giving a
what's
solution.
wrong with
So
their
what did we just do here?
Give a
stuff, telling
solution.
them why they should buy it.
Show solution. Questions on that? Cool. Okay. Let's turn to pages 6 and 7. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Let's do page 5 really quickly. Let's read through the Forever Guarantee. Yeah, let's do it. Forever Guarantee. This part's fun.
The best thing about Cutco is their 4-part forever guarantee. Cutco is one of the only products that you can buy once, use every day, and never have to replace.
So just for 1 second, let's pause. Buy once, use every day, never have to replace. Other than Cutco, what's something that you can think of that you can buy once, use every single day, never have to replace? Guaranteed in writing to work perfectly every single time, that you can also pass down to your children.
A house.
You're gonna have to repair houses.
As long as it's not damaged. Like if you're lucky.
Let me ask you, every 5-10 years, what happens to the style of a home?
It's old.
What do people do?
Remodel.
Renovate, remodel, buy a new one.
It's a constant like money and needing thing.
And here's what I'll tell you. We could sit here in silence for 30 minutes. We don't have the time to do that in training today. But that is why we sell so much Cutco. That is why we do $250 million in sales a year. That is why every single sales rep I train is successful, regardless of their background, their dad's last name, what high school they went to, what neighborhood they drove here from, what car they drove here in. That is the reason that every single sales rep I train is successful. That's the reason that every single person that I train sells. That's why everyone buys, buy once, use every day, never have to replace. That is why we sell so much Cutco. That when you get to this part of the demo, go off on the Forever Guarantee. This is why people buy. Go ahead and keep running. Go ahead and keep reading through that. I'm gonna use the rest real quick, and then we'll dig in.
The product is your proof of purchase and you can pass it down generation to generation. Forever performance. If anything ever goes wrong with Cutco, just send it back to the factory and the company will fix or replace it for free. You'll never have to pay to replace your knife. Forever sharpness. Whenever your Cutco needs sharpening, just send it back and it will be sharpened, polished for free. All you pay for is the shipping. Unconventional use. If you or your spouse ever happen to destroy your Cutco through unconventional use, you can get it replaced for half. Unconditional money back guarantee. We have a 15-day risk-free money back guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason at all, you can get a full refund. If your spouse is not present. Miss Jones, we can't always see both spouses together, so you can try out Cutco together for 3 weeks. Risk free to make sure you both love it. Personal guarantee. Miss Jones, I know you are going to love what you choose to get today. If you ever need anything in the future, sharpening, servicing, or help with new products, please contact me and I'll help you take care of it. I know
Okay.
you're gonna love your Cutco.
You get through that?
Mhm.
Yeah, good. Keep going. If you're still going.
Cocoa is such a great investment because you'll never have to buy anything, another set ever again. And you can't beat American made and forever guaranteed.
Cool. So, forever guaranteed. All right. Any questions on pages 4 or 5? Great. Let's move on to pages 6 and 7. So, here's what you need to know. We have 3 main sets of Cutco. The first is our basic set. It's right here on the your left side of the table. It's called the Homemaker +8. That's basic. Okay? The second is right here. It's called the Signature set. That's our medium. And then the third is the ultimate. Which is the complete set. So here's the question. Just think about the psychology of most people. If they have a choice between basic, medium, large, what do they probably go with?
Large.
Large or medium. So what do you think our most popular sets are? What do you think we sell the most of?
Medium.
Medium set is what we sell the most of. That's this one right here. Medium set. Okay, well, we do sell a lot of homemakers. We do sell a lot of complete sets. We sell a lot of complete sets in this area, by the way. Right? You know, here's the thing about selling Cutco in an area like Northern Virginia versus Charlotte, North Carolina. The average household income is $125,000. In Charlotte, it's like $86,000 or $89,000. What that means is that $2,000, $3,000 here is really less than it is in other parts of the country. Does that make sense? That is one of the reasons that this office, this territory, this area, these representatives sell so much Cutco. Okay? So our 3 main sets, the basic, the medium, the complete. If you give most people a choice between medium or basic, medium, and complete, most people go with medium or complete. Some go with basic. Just depends on their needs. Let's talk about pages 6 and 7. Here's what I want you to know. Couple things. Number 1, this is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, telling is not selling. Okay, let me say that again. Telling is not selling. You can't just tell them what the knife is used for and expect that to sell the knife, right? Can't you be like, here's the trimmer, it's the tomato knife, it's good for tomatoes. No shit, right? You would say something like this, Ms. Jones, have you ever had a big, red, juicy tomato in the summertime? You ever try to cut it with a dull knife? Have you guys ever done this?
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
Juices.
Like-
You just smash it, don't you? It becomes Heinz ketchup. Instead of saying what it was for, what did I just do?
Explain.
Before I explained, what did I ask?
A question.
A question. Pages 6 and 7 are all about questions. Now, in your manual, you're going to see a lot of statements. For instance, Vera, read me the paring knife.
Cutco's air knife has a long handle, makes peeling and paring comfortable. You'll use this for small jobs in the air, but rarely on the cutting board. That's why you have your.
Okay. So it says it's good for things in the air, but rarely on the cutting board. Would be more powerful to tell them what it's used for or to ask, hey, Ms. Jones, do you ever cut anything in the air? Yeah, have you ever taken the tops off of strawberries? You ever like cut up some bananas for cereal? Have you ever peeled an apple or potato? Cool. You're gonna love this knife. Paring knife is one of the most common tools in the kitchen. You're gonna love it. Use it all the time. As an example, what does the trimmer say?
This is your small utility knife for small fruits and vegetables. Do you have a tomato or soft fruit we can cut? Mine has a pearl handle. Which color do you like better? Everyone loves the versatility, but it's never used for spreading or serving. That's why,
So it says this is used for. So instead of saying that, you could say, hey, Ms. Jones, do you ever cut a small fruit or vegetable on a cutting board? You ever cut a cucumber or a tomato? What is every human being going to say to that?
Yes.
duh.
Yes. Cool. You're going to love this one. Look at the spreader. Hey, Ms. Jones, do you ever make sandwiches for your husband or the kids? What am I doing?
Saying yes or
I'm nodding. When I nod, what does the customer do?
not.
Yeah.
Ms. Jones, do you ever make sandwiches for your husband or the kids? Cool. Do you guys ever cook anything in a pan? You ever do like lasagna, casserole, brownies? Cool. You're going to love the spreader. You might love it so much you need a couple of them. My mom has 3. Miss Jones, the petite carver. Hey, Miss Jones, do you guys ever cut chicken breast? What is every human being going to say to that?
No.
Now, let's say they're a vegetarian.
Oh.
Hey, Miss Jones, you ever cut an orange? Cool. You ever cut an eggplant or a medium-sized fruit or vegetable? Great. You're going to love this tool. Right? Hey, Miss
Do you wait
Jones.
for their response or no?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Do you wait for their response or no?
Yeah, totally. They're like, it goes, I mean, it's kind of like if we're role playing here, I go, hey, Miss Jones, you ever cut like chicken breast on the cutting board or anything like that? Oh, no? You ever cut an orange or an eggplant?
Occasionally.
Cool, yeah. Have you ever do like a roast or meatloaf or anything like that?
No, I don't eat meat.
Oh, you don't eat meat? Okay, so I would know that before, right? I would ask those types of questions.
The kitchen. The
Great.
chicken. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
What about, you ever do like a cantaloupe or anything like that?
Mhm.
Cool. You're gonna love this tool.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, do you ever? Have you ever? Do you sometimes? That's a great phrase to put in front of any question. Because hey, have you ever? What is the answer going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done that. Hey, do you sometimes? Oh yeah, we sometimes do that.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So you want to ask lots of questions. So realize this. No longer are you allowed to call these knives. They are not knives. They are tools. They are tools the same way that wrenches and hammers are tools. The difference is these tools we actually use every day and we keep them in our kitchen drawers or on our countertop. Most people don't go buy a shirt, they buy an outfit. Most people don't go buy a shoe, they buy a pair. They don't go buy a golf club, they buy a set. They don't buy 1 or 2 tools, they buy a
Set.
People buy things in sets, okay? So no difference at all in the kitchen. Now, all the knives kind of look the same. Just like almost every golf club in a bag of golf clubs kind of looks the same. But we know there's a different club for a different shop, depending on how close or how far away you are from the green. Same thing in the kitchen. All the knives kind of look the same, but there's a different tool for a different job. The analogy I used earlier with Vera was shoes. That's one that always connects with Miss Jones. Miss Jones, how many pairs of shoes do you have? 10, 20, 30? Why so many pairs? Different outfits and different occasions. Same exact thing in the kitchen.
How do you tell them apart?
Great question. Names and uses.
Like when you look at it, does it say it?
Oh, they all look different, right? If you just look at the handles, right, they kind of look the same. But if you pull the knives out, they're all shaped a little bit differently for different tools and different jobs.
How do you know which one to use?
Great question. Names and uses, which is what we're going over right now. So let's walk through this. Ms. Vera, since you're asking, let's have you start. Why don't you start at the very top of page number 6 right there?
Hi, Ms. Jones. You can buy individual pieces, but most customers agree that over a lifetime, sets are a much better value. It's important to have the right tool for the right situation because of safety and efficiency. We have 2 larger set options for customers who love to cook, called the Ultimate and the Signature. But I'm going to start with the pieces in our basic set. which is the most popular. It's called the Homemaker Plus 8. It has the minimum number of tools to do 100% of the jobs in your kitchen as efficiently as possible. It's the best value for the average family, and it starts with your knives.
Paring knife. Cool. All right, David, paring knife. We're just going to go right across the bean row here. David, paring knife.
Paring knife. Coco's air knife has a long handle, makes peeling and paring comfortable.
Mhm.
You'll use this for small jobs in the air, but rarely on the cutting board. That's why you have your trimmer.
Boom. Trimmer. Christian.
This is your small utility knife for small fruits and veggies. If you have a tomato or soft fruit, you can cut.
Circle that. You want to cut a tomato on every demo. We're going to do this tomorrow. Oh my gosh. It is unbelievable. Night and day difference between a normal knife cutting through a tomato and a trimmer cutting through a tomato. It's incredible. Keep going.
Mine has a pearl handle. Which color do you like better? Everyone loves the versatility, but it's never used for spreading or serving. While you have your
Yeah, go.
Wide, flexible dating edge allows you to cut, spread, and serve sandwiches, bagels, lasagna, and cake. And you will also use it on meat or large vegetables. That's why you have your.
So let me show you these. This is the paring knife. Short blade, long handle, very comfortable to use. You always peel and pare towards yourself. Paring knife is used for stuff in the air. This is the trick. Oh, nope, that's the Sintoku paring knife. Let's see. This is your trimmer. Small utility knife. Ms. Jones, have you ever cut small fruits or vegetables on a cucumber? You ever do a cucumber, tomato? Cool. You ever try to cut a tomato with a dull knife? What happens? Yeah, you just get ketchup, don't you? With Cutco, you get paper thin slices. This is the trimmer. The spreader. Oh man, this thing is awesome. Okay, my mom literally owns 3 of these. Okay, one is always dirty in the dishwasher, one is always in someone's hand, and one is always waiting on deck to be used. This thing is incredible. Look at this. It bends at 90 degrees. Oh, isn't that cool? Okay, what's always the toughest piece to get out of the pan? Like when you cook like brownies or lasagna? Corner, right? This thing, you go like this, whoop, and slide it right underneath it. Comes out so easy. It also plays some really cool tunes in the kitchen. Check this out. Shh, listen. You know what note that you guys like music? You know what? Listen to what note this is. You hear that? What is that?
Sounds like an E.
It's a B sharp because these are going to be the sharpest knives, Miss Vera, that you've ever had in your whole life. Okay, now, here's what I'll tell you. That B sharp joke, you guys think it's lame. Miss Jones,
Loves it.
it's the funniest joke she's ever heard in her whole life.
Loves it.
Okay, so B sharp.
It's actually a B sharp?
No, it's not.
I think it's B flat.
That's impressive.
Okay, now, we did spreader. Petite carver.
This large utility knife is your everyday meat knife for chicken and small roast. It's also for large summer fruits and tough vegetables. You have a large fruit.
Here's one thing I'll tell you right there. Write this in. Cut an orange. You cut an orange with this petite carver? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The petite carver. This is the petite carver. This is your medium size knife. The rule of thumb is that the knife should always be bigger than what you're cutting. Does that make sense? Cool. Petite carver. Go ahead, keep going.
Turning.
Yes.
The 3 sharp tines make it easy to turn meats and veggies and get things out of the jars. None of the pieces so far are used for larger fruits. That's why you have your.
Okay, now here's what I'm going to tell you about the turning fork. This is probably one of the most underrated, underestimated tools in the set. This is probably one of the most underrated, underestimated tools that we make. Okay, this fork is made out of the same metal that all the other knives are. Feel that. Be very careful. You feel that, dude? This fork, the tines are sharpened to a point. You guys ever been cooking like bacon or sausage on the weekends and try to turn it over, right? You're playing hockey, trying to like chase it around, right? And it never. With Cutco, you poke it once, you turn it over, it comes right off. Here's why. The fork is shaped like a ramp. Most forks are what?
Flat.
Completely flat. So you can't get stuff off of them. You poke it once, you turn it over. Poke it once, turn it over. That's why it's called the turning fork. Hey, Miss Jones, you ever cook over the stove? You ever cook in a pan like You ever do like chicken or fish or maybe a stir fry or something like that? You ever do like bacon or sausage here and there on the weekends? Or like something like that? Cool, you're gonna love this. Right? And do you see how like Miss Jones is saying what?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And when she's saying that, she sees what?
Interest in the product.
Interest, need, use. So the point is, if you want to get the yes on the set, what do you have to get yeses on first? All the tools in the set. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, great. Okay. Next, butcher knife.
This heavy-duty knife disjoints large meats and is great for melons and squash. It protects your other knives, but it is not a chopping knife. That's why you have your...
Okay, butcher knife. Go ahead and tell Miss Jones. Miss Jones, this will be the least used tool in your set. But without question, it's the most important. Miss Jones, this will be the least used tool in your set. But without question, it's the most important. Here's why. All the other tools in the set from doing things that they should not be doing. Anything that's a heavy-duty job, cantaloupe, honeydew, pineapple, disjointing chicken or other poultry, cutting through frozen foods. That's what you're going to use the butcher knife for. So it's not something you're going to use all the time. But it's a lot better to have it and not need it than it is to need it and not have it. Most important tool in the set is the butcher knife. Great. What's next?
Petite chef.
Yes.
The high knuckle clearance makes it comfortable and safer for dicing, mincing, and chopping. This delicate chopper is great for the 6 S's: soup, salad, stir fry, stew, stuffing, and salsa.
Mm-hmm.
Chef knives are for chopping, not slicing. That's why you have your...
Hey, Ms. Jones, do you ever chop anything up into small pieces? Yeah, cool. You ever do, celery, carrots, onions? Yeah, you're going to love this tool. Here's why the butcher knife, again, is so important. If I don't buy a butcher knife, what am I probably going to use for tougher jobs? This knife. Why?
It's huge.
Because it's big. And you associate big with
Big.
power. You know what's funny about this tool? This is, without question, the most delicate tool in the whole set. This tool never leaves the cutting board. You use it like the paper cutter at school, like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most delicate knife in the whole set. But if I don't have a butcher knife, what am I going to use? This one. Why?
Because you think it's...
Because I think it's big and, okay, that's what I should use. That's why we make a set. I just saw the light bulb go off right here with you, Bear. All right.
I get it.
Cool. Remember, enthusiasm. I am sold myself. You got to believe before they believe. Okay, good. The chef knife, we're going to use this one tomorrow too. We're going to use all of them, but the chef knife, that will be one of your favorite ones that you use. It's so fun to use. That knife is addicting. So fun. Okay, so that's the chef. Okay, Vera, go ahead.
Do you ever cut a cake?
Yeah, we do that every now and
Do
then.
you like eat salads?
Yeah, we do salads. Yeah.
It's the so this is the slicer. It's the best bread knife in the world, and the long DB edge makes it great for everything that you do. There.
Dude, Vera, great job. Turned it into a question. I love it. Hey, so Miss Jones, yeah, do you guys ever do Miss Jones, you ever buy the salad in a bag?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And no matter like how fresh it is, the bottom of it's like super gross.
Like it's good.
Here's what's awesome. When you have a slicer, you can buy a head of lettuce, some carrots, some tomatoes, whatever you like in your salad. You can shred an entire head of lettuce, Miss Jones, in like 5 seconds with this slicer. It's unbelievable. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it. 1, 2. You're done. Salad's made. And normally the salad in the bag costs like $5,
Mm-hmm.
and a whole head of lettuce is like
$2.
$1, $2. It's saving you so much money. Do you guys ever do like a cake or a pie every here and there?
Like birthdays.
Cool. So you use just here and there for stuff like that. Miss Jo, do you ever do Italian night at your house? Like, there's 3 components, right? pasta, salad, and
Meatballs.
you got to have garlic bread too. That's the key. And you know, like, here's what I love about garlic bread, right? Christian's nodding, he feels me. Garlic bread, I love it because it builds anticipation. Because you can smell that stuff cooking for like 30 minutes, right? Exactly. But as soon as it comes out of the oven, what is mom telling you to do? Nope, can't eat it. You have to wait for it to what? Cool down. Because normally when you're trying to cut something like garlic bread with a dull knife, what's happening?
You're ripping it and
You're
tearing
ripping and tearing it. Normally garlic bread starts off like that big, doesn't it? By the time it's on your plate, it's like this big. And there's a million crumbs everywhere. Not with Cutco. You can take that garlic bread, piping hot out of the oven, steam still pouring off of it, and take this slicer and just make beautiful slices. No crumbs, no smashing, no tearing it. It's incredible. Now, let me teach you what I just did there. Did anyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
That is called painting a picture. Where I'm like visually and vividly painting a picture of them using it. Where they can see it. The steam, the garlic bread, right? That's something that everyone has felt. So, slicer, good, Vera. Awesome. Slicer's awesome. Best bread knife on the face of the planet. We'll use that one tomorrow. It's so cool. Okay, carving set. David.
Master carving set. It's like your spare tire. You won't use it every day, but you'll be glad that you have it. Do you ever barbecue or host family dinners?
Yeah, we do that every now and then.
You'll need it for barbecue, big roasts, and family occasions. Both forks are important. The turning fork picks food up while the carving fork holds meat down.
Yeah, hey, Mr. Jones, you guys celebrate holidays? You guys do like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter? Cool, you'll use this on big occasions like that. You ever do like a bigger meal on the weekends, like a nice Sunday meal or something where you're cooking something bigger? You ever throw stuff on the grill? Cool. You're going to use this all the time. The carving set's awesome. Carving set? Oop, wrong. Here is my carver. Aha. That's a sexy knife, isn't it? I love this damn thing. And this brings me to the tradition of carving back to the dinner table. You know how, like, you ever know someone who uses the turkey chainsaw? You know what I'm talking about? That thing is so loud and there's turkey flying everywhere, right? And it's so, like, how many of you guys have had dry turkey? I don't care how much gravy you put on it, dry turkey is dry turkey. You know why that turkey's so dry? It's not because the way they cooked it, because pretty much everyone cooks a turkey the same way. What do? Low and slow for like 4 to 6 hours, right? The reason that turkey is dry is because they cut it with a crappy knife. Because with a straight edge knife, again, what are you doing? You're ripping and tearing and shredding and taking out the moisture of the flavor. So that's one of the advantages here of the carving set. So that's the carving set. Love the carving set. Go ahead, Christian.
Table knives.
Yes.
To complete your set, your table knives are used for every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Sure are.
The wide blade and rounded tip makes it safer, but with the double D edge, it cuts like a steak.
Mm-hmm.
We recommend 2 table knives per family, so you don't have to wash them after every meal.
Okay. Here are the table knives. Rounded blade, safe for kids. Okay, no point. Wide blade, so you can spread with it. Butter on English muffins in the morning, things like that. But a double D edge, you can also cut through chicken, whatever. Now here's what I'm gonna tell you. I love my table knives. I have a ton of these things. I can't even tell you how many of them I have in my drawers. It's a lot. However, if I'm cutting through a steak, a nice thick chicken breast, a pork chop, I am not using this dainty little table knife. You know what I'm using? This bad boy right here. I'm using the steak knife. And here's what I'm going to tell you, man. When you use the steak knife, you can't go back to using the table knife. You just can't do it. Now, a lot of customers do want both. So some customers, what they'll do is they'll get an Arnold Palmer set, which is where they do half table knives and half steak knives. It's a really popular option for people. Some people just go ahead and get 12 table knives and 12 steak knives.
Is that like all attached in the set together somehow?
Sometimes, like if they want to do a half and half set, it'll change the price a bit. But yeah, call and we'll hook you up with that type of pricing.
Like for aesthetic reasons, like it's like all together in one block.
Oh yeah, it'll still fit in the same block. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So those are table knives. Okay, where are we? Chris, did you finish table knives?
It says some stuff about like testing them.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Read that.
Let's test our table knife on some tough leather. It's customer steak knife. It says earthquake effect.
Now, what does that mean?
It'd be hard.
You guys know when you're cutting through steak at the dinner table and everyone's cutting through their steak at the same time and your table is shaking and the peas are getting knocked off your plate and your water's about to spill because everyone's trying to saw through their steak simultaneously? With Cutco, the way you cut through steak, it looks like this. So smooth.
True.
It's like literally like cutting through butter. It's unbelievable. Okay? The steak knives. So that's the earthquake effect.
And Cutco table knife, get excited.
Mhm.
Stack leather in strips, press it down.
I'm going to show you guys that tomorrow. We'll do that. Everyone will get a chance to do that tomorrow. It's so freaking cool. Go ahead, keep going.
For customers who like the feel of a large steak knife or two larger sets, come with an option.
Awesome. Keep going.
Storage options. Mrs. Jones, it would be dangerous to have really sharp, high-quality knives floating in a drawer. The most popular is our solid oak wood block, which looks great on the counter. We also have safe storage trays for storage in a drawer or on.
It's really a matter of preference. Here's what I'll tell you. Most people want a block because they want to be able to display it and it looks nice and it looks good on their countertop, you know? But regardless, here's the deal. You got to make sure you get people a block or a tray or a sheath or something, okay? Why?
It's sharp.
Because it protects the investment and it's really sharp. If they buy a couple Cutco knives and they throw them in their drawer with all their other knives, eventually one day they're not even going to think about it. What's going to happen? They're going to reach in to grab a knife and they're going to cut themselves, right? So this is very important. Make sure, please make sure you get people a block or a tray for storage. Very, very important, okay? Any questions on that? All right, let's go ahead and keep going. And won't you go pick up?
Storage option.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones, it would be dangerous to have really sharp, high-quality knives floating in the drawer. Most popular are solid oak wood block, which looks great on the counter. We also have safe storage trays for storage in a drawer or on the wall.
Yep. Good, keep going.
Cutting board. Our sets come with a free cutting board. It's important to use soft plastic cutting board. Glass, granite, and marble cutting boards are too hard to hold all your knives. Kitchen tools and container pack. To complement your homemaker set, we have incredible kitchen tools and gadgets. This 5-piece dishwasher safe kitchen tool set contains 2 drawers full of old kitchen tools. Our 4-piece and container pack has a comfort grip handles and is of course forever guaranteed.
Here's a pro tip. With either the basic or medium set, we offer customers either that kitchen tool set, which by the way, here it is. So pretty, matches everything. You guys know that drawer at home that has all the kitchen tools in it and you can barely open it because there's so much stuff in the drawer and nothing matches? This replaces that whole damn drawer. Okay, so with either even just the basic set, they can either get the kitchen tools or the entertainer pack or the super shears for free. With a medium set, they can get 2 out of those 3 things for free. Guess what happens with a complete set?
All 3.
Bingo. Cool.
What happens if someone literally has everything?
Okay, so that's awesome. First of all, it's very rare that they have everything, but if they do, the likelihood is they have everything for their home. They're a customer that owns everything for their home, which is about 10 grand, give or take, in retail Cutco. What do they probably also have?
Vacation.
That doesn't have Cutco in it yet. Yep. And who do they have? Friends who probably don't own that much Cutco yet. Love those customers.
That's my best friend's mom. Like,
So here's what she probably doesn't have, though. Let me show you this. What she probably doesn't have is 2 things. One is our cookware.
Ooh.
We make pots and pans, Vera, that are even better than the knives are. And I know that saying that, you're like, what?
No, but like,
Okay, the pots and pans, dude, are better than the knives are. Okay? In fact, the pots and pans were the first product that we manufactured. Yep. The knives initially were like a add-on product. Okay, the cookware is incredible. And then check this out. Where's my flatware at? Is it?
It's in the cup.
This flatware. Vera, she does not have this. Now let me tell you about this Cutco flatware. This is our New Year sizzler. This flatware is beautiful. Okay, it's stainless steel flatware. I'm gonna pass this around so you guys see this. This is our New Year sizzler. Okay. When people see this stuff, they freak out. It's beautiful. I'll pass it around. Check that out.
Do you want to know how obsessed this person is with the set?
Yeah.
They have pretty sure everything, like all the knives. When the Costco goes to present Cutco at Costco,
Yeah.
she'll purposely go there and watch them present it.
Oh yeah. And that's probably the Costco rep's favorite customers in the world because she's like talking to everyone around her like, you have got to buy these knives. I'm telling you, these are the best things ever made.
If someone goes over to dinner and they mention something about the knives, they're getting an hour presentation.
Oh yeah. Man, that customer's gonna be fun. Should be very, just so you know, that very easily could probably be your first demo.
I was thinking that.
If that sounds like a guaranteed sale.
Are you serious? Even the best part, she wrote a personal letter to the corporate saying how much she loves Cutco.
Okay. See her first. Because likely she doesn't have this flatware yet because it's not sold in Costco. Nope. It's only sold through reps. And it's probably something she doesn't have because it's an add-on that a lot of new reps aren't selling. They're like, a lot of times just selling the basic stuff, set here, set there. Cookware, flatware. Remember that.
Are we allowed to bring it to the demonstration?
That's Joseph's personal flatware. So I don't know. It depends on how well you do booking demos. I have a feeling if you have 10 to 15 or more appointments scheduled, he might let you take one or two of those forks and spoons so you can check them out. So, okay. All right. So that's the basic stuff. All right. So here's what you want to look at. Step number 5, you create desire for the set. Set versus pieces.
She had a rep come to her house like many years ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Through the names and uses.
You have to have the steak knives because you came out with those about 2 years.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Also, Vera, it's funny. People that own Cutco,
There's a steak knife.
they go, "Oh, I own everything." You know what she probably owns, Vera? You ready? She probably owns the basic set. It's just funny. Cutco, "Oh, I own everything you make." A lot of times they own a basic set and a cheese knife. Watch, she's gonna have a lot less than you think.
Oh, she's obsessed with the pizza cutter. She's like, "Oh, watch this." Put something in.
Dude, I need to bring her into training.
Oh no!
Okay.
Like if she sells, she would sell to everyone. It's amazing.
I love it. Make sure that you have her write you a testimonial. That'll be a good customer for you. Okay. Any other questions on pages 6 and 7? So again, to review where we are so far, go back in your manuals. Go back to page 1 in your manuals. First step, what are we doing?
Building rapport.
We're building rapport. Okay? Look at page number 2. What are we doing on page number 2?
Establishing credibility.
We're establishing credibility in the company. Look at page number 3. What are we doing on page 3?
Identifying a problem.
Yes, I would put a star on that page. Remember, that is one of, if not the most important page. Good stuff, David. If you nail that page, you're making a sale on almost every single demo that you do. Now, page 3 determines if you make the sale. What do pages 4 and 5 determine?
If they want the product.
How big,
How much they want.
how much they want. Pages 6 and 7, what does that determine?
If they want the full set.
If they want the set or just a couple knives. Crushing it. Crushing it. So we build rapport, we create credibility. We identify a problem. We show the solution. We create desire for the set versus pieces through the names and uses section of the presentation. That right there is 95% of the presentation. That simple, that easy.
How long should a full presentation take?
Good question. What do you think, dude? As you're looking at this, what do you think?
I remember Joseph saying like 30, 45.
Your part outside of building rapport and what we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, which is closing and wrapping up the sale and figuring out what they exactly want. The actual presentation portion, 30, 45 minutes. About 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes of rapport. Probably another 10 to 15 minutes of figuring out which set they're going to go with. Yeah. Yep. Where should you spend the most time? What pages? What pages should you spend the most time on?
3 and 4.
3
That's what I was gonna
and
say.
4. Because then 5 is super simple. 5 is a forever guarantee. Hello, right? And then pages 6 and 7 is just you're asking lots of questions. You're cutting up lots of food. You're going to get excited about the knives. Cool? Cool. All right, here's what we're going to do. It's 5:30. We're going to take a break. You guys cool with that? You're like, holy shit, finally. All right, go ahead and stand up for me real quick. Okay. 10, 15 minutes. Let's call it 15.
Stop the video.
Here's what I want you guys to do really quickly. On this break, here's what you're going to do. I promise no one's going to die during the following activity. So on this break, you can use the restroom, which are at the front. You can grab water. The tap water is awesome. So if you bring a water bottle, if you have something with you, feel free to fill up. Feel free to bring something with you. You don't have something with you today. So stretch your legs, grab some water, use the restroom. On this break, though, here's also what I want you to do. I want you to shake hands with everyone in the room. I want you to tell